Hello and welcome to episode 40 of the Live War Game Show. We're trying something new this week. It's just me and Dill for now. About halfway through, it's going to be me and Stephen. Don't ask how it's happening. No, timing, Christmas, work just doesn't add up for people. So instead of doing nothing to finish out the year, because we all want to talk about our games of the year and blah, 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 we decided that we do one recording with Dill, one recording with Stephen, then we'll crop them together, and well, I'll crop them together and see how it works out. It might be an absolute train wreck, but no one listens anyway, so who gives a shit.
Really, me and Stephen had a big fall now, and we're not allowed in the same room, let alone virtual space together.
They had a nasty breakup.
I said Dark Souls was shit.
Stephen said that gameplay is more important than narrative.
It's very typical of him, isn't it?
Fuck's sake, man. Anyway, fucking happy feet over here.
I nearly spat on my teeth.
I knew you would. The funniest part is no one has a fucking clue what's going on. Right, so we're gonna kick it off. Me and Dill are gonna talk about our games of the year. We're gonna split it into our game of the year and then also our favorite game of the year. So that game that came out this year that we think deserves game of the year, and then our favorite game that may have come out another year, but we played this year. Stephen doesn't know about that part. I'm going to drop it on him tomorrow. I don't know if you wrote a list still of different possible games of the year, and then you have one that stood out to you. I know I have a few that I really enjoyed, and then one that obviously stood out best. Before we get into sorry, go on.
When I was looking through a list, just by saying, do you have a list? I was looking through what came out this year and what actually I finished, and I didn't finish a lot this year. And I was like, not in a bad way, just as in like, I feel like if I had to give a game of the year from most hours played, it would have been Apex, because I feel like I've just like no life that this year. But like looking at it here, it's like there is my outshining favorites, so I just made a top 3.
Yeah, that's fair. Top 3 is fair.
With one that's a little bit way ahead.
A little bit way ahead.
So
yeah, I think we kind of spurred the topic is that we had the Game Awards last week.
Yes.
And while I can agree with what won Game of the Year, despite having not played the game, a lot of people were ranting and raving about it, and there's something really, really nice about Joseph Fares, fuck the Oscars, winning Game of the Year. Yeah. So I can sleep happily with that. There were some weird nominations. Deathloop, I think, doesn't deserve a spot near Game of the Year. I think it's a good game, very good game, but nomination for Game of the Year just sits weirdly with me. I don't think it deserves that. But anyway, I didn't choose the nomination. So anyway, before we get into Game of the Year, Dill, what have you been up to that you can talk about? Because
what have I been up to?
Obviously, Spider-Man is off the table because I don't get to see it till next week.
Do you know what? I was messaging Dan about it today, and it was nice to actually just outlet what happened, because I was like, oh my god, this, and then oh my god, that, and then I forgot this, and I forgot that, and I was just like, I haven't done that, because I was like, obviously, I went to see it with Kathy, my sister, and we were talking about it afterwards, but then it was kind of like, it just settled, and I was like, holy shit, we actually saw that today. Not going to say anything, not going to say it was the best thing ever, not going to say it was like, it was okay, because then obviously stuff would be kind of given away. But one thing, I was just happy. Like, I woke up that morning, or from midnight the night before, when the releases were out. I was I'm not touching my phone, can't look at anything. The only thing I looked at was Discord, and that was to put a warning in Discord to say, if anyone puts shit in here, don't care who you are, you're getting kicked, you're getting banned. This is like the peak. This is end game level to me. Like, and it was nice going in, and I don't
know anything like, apart from what's in the trailers.
Yeah, and that's what I
stuff
really
that
like.
You might guess is happening because of the trailers. Like, I have assumptions of what might happen in it, but I don't actually know. So I am looking forward to seeing it.
It feels like it did get the endgame treatment when it comes to trailers, because it feels like we saw a lot, but we didn't see a lot. Like, we saw, like, I think it was Tom Holland said, we saw within the span of 40 minutes of the movie, and it's a 2.5 hour movie. So it's like, and when I was watching it, a lot of stuff in the trailers happens very early, so you're kind of like, holy shit, this is leaving so much open. It's just, Won't say anymore. It's out. Go watch it.
No, I was literally sitting there about to buy tickets for it, and then Louise was like, "Oh, I can't do that day because I'm filming down the country." I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, I forgot. We go to next week." And then with the pandemic kicking up a fuss again, all her filming got moved around. Pushed. We actually could have gone to see it yesterday, but look, it's fine. We'll go one of the days next week, and it'll be fine. And I can't wait to see it.
That's the tickets bar gold dust as well.
If the cinemas are still open by next week. But
that
yeah,
was
Dan actually. Dan said the same as you. Like he was like, "I'm just so happy to get to talk about it."
Yeah. Yeah, because it's one of those, you forget things happened. Like films like this, blockbusters that I'm really hyped and excited for. I love seeing a second time because I think you're so excited that you can't kind of comprehend everything that's going on. You're kind of like, oh my god, they're doing this and they're doing that, but you're like, you're not feeling the actual flow like from scene to scene and like yeah.
It's a bit like Endgame or the new Star Wars movies come out that like the first time you watch them you are just like, right, I'm just here for the ride, strap me in.
Yeah.
And then when you see it again you kind of relaxed, you know what's coming.
You can analyze it a lot
and then
more.
The puzzle starts to fit together a lot better. Like my favorite part of Endgame, seeing it the second time the day after, was when you knew that Cap was going to pick up the hammer. Yeah. Sorry, spoilers for Endgame if you haven't seen it.
It's been out 12 years.
But
if you got snapped.
When Cap picked up the hammer, like just kind of sitting there, just looking across the theater, just to see how people reacted to it. Like that was great. Or in Force Awakens where Han gets, like just see.
And you see like when it sets the scene for that. Like obviously you know the build up the second time watching it, but you don't notice those little hints.
Yeah.
As it's kind of creating that environment. And that was another thing, the cinema, like I love going on day releases and midnight releases of big franchises like this because everybody is there for the same reason, not just to watch a movie, they're there to watch this movie.
You
they're
feel like you're part of something.
Yeah, it's a community thing. And seeing people's reactions, like we don't get it a lot over here, like cinema reactions,
no,
like
we don't.
Visible clapping or audible clapping and shit like that and cheering, and there was a lot of that going on, so it's like something's big and it's something's like momentous when this happens. It was really good. Well, I'm not saying anymore.
I can't wait to see it. Obviously I kind of into all that sort of nonsense. I'm looking forward to that. Anything else? It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, Spider-Man took over my life. No, I'm back 100% to work now as well. So
great.
It's kind of it's tough doing full weeks again because you're like, holy shit, my body is not ready for this. But it's really good. Good obviously on the pay front, getting back to normal, especially for Christmas. What else? It was a busy weekend actually. Gaz had his going away party. He's moving to Australia in the 26th.
When's he moving back?
That's the thing. I hope nobody guilt trips him into coming home because he needs it. He needs to go. Needs a bit of independence. So, he's moving on the 26th. One of my best friends that I grew up with. So we had a going away party the weekend, and then we had the Formula One final race on Sunday, which if you're under a rock, you've heard about because it was one of the most fucking Maradona handball things that happen.
I actually am surprised I didn't see that reference. I'm surprised that one hasn't come up.
Yeah, controversial. Thierry Henry handball, but not as bad because it wasn't.
I stand with Lewis. I'm sorry, but you'd swear that something disastrous had happened to the guy. He lost.
I saw a really cool thing. It was like Verstappen didn't win 365 points in that race. Like, it was a hard year for both of them fighting. Hamilton got stuff handed to him.
That's what, like, I'm someone who isn't into Formula 1 at all. Like, I'm not into it at all. Like, obviously you guys all talk about it in Discord, so I kind of got semi-invested in it.
Yeah.
And from following it all year, that's how it seemed to me that, this decision went Lewis's way, this decision went Verstappen's way, and this went this way. And it was... If it had been the other way around and that decision had gone to Hamilton, there would have been people would have been justifying it. The same way 100%. As people are justifying it going to Max. It was 100%. Literally, it's like Liverpool and Man United. Oh, he dived for a penalty. No, he didn't. He fucking cleaned them out of it. Oh, he definitely dived. Nah, never. It was just, if it goes your way, you're gonna be happy about it. If it goes the other way, you're gonna be fuming about it, and that's just what it is. I don't know.
Someone has to lose at the end of the day.
Exactly. I don't know enough about F1 to really get into it because it'd be like me talking about ballet. I really don't have a fucking clue about ballet, so I don't really give an opinion on it. But everyone was fucking hyped about it, and it was fun.
It's one of those. They've been leading for 7 years, and finally someone is kind of stepping up to challenge. And it's just unfortunate that it feels like his first championship is tainted because there's so much controversy around it, and it's kind of like it's unfortunate because but it's just the whole the air around it and the whole Hamilton mightn't even come back to Formula One next year. It's like piss off.
Yeah. It's a bit like if you tell Liverpool fans, oh, but you won the title during COVID. It doesn't mean the same. Absolutely, it means the same.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it just as much.
It's that kind of that atmosphere around the whole fan base at the moment. So it's kind of like you start reading stuff and you're like, oh yeah, maybe, but then you're like, no, fucking, it's. Yeah. It was a long season for both of them. They were both fucking like to go into the last race, fucking head to head, and what happened? We were out for it in town. Oh man, the atmosphere! It was literally like going out for a United Liverpool game. Like that level of everybody was into it, and everybody was just fucking losing their shit. My voice was gone for like the next 2 days. I was still kind of hoarse the other day, and I was like, "Holy shit!" But yeah, it was really cool. So that happened. Max won, so we're all happy. Lewis lost, but yeah,
we're Irish on this pod. We're Irish on this podcast. So
it's just part.
If a British sports person loses, we're naturally going to be happy about it. It's just the way we're made.
Don't hate them. Just hate your culture and what you stand for. But other than that, I've been playing Cyberpunk quite a bit actually.
You have.
I still haven't fallen off it yet, which is great. I'm just buzzing for the console PS5 upgraded version to come out.
It's a pity there's no crossplay.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of happy because it kind of forces me to start again. I want to start again, but if I had like my saves there, I'd be like, oh shit, I'll just go collecting on this. But just tying up loose ends before meet Hanako at Embers, which is the start of the fucking no turning back phase. So I just literally threw into Google.
For what it's worth, it's not. It's a point of no return. But once you finish the ending you chose, it puts you right back to that moment.
Into that moment, yeah.
So you can do the other end. You can go through each of the endings then and try out the 3 different endings, 4 different endings.
Like I think I have everything tied up, bar Julie, her side story. I think I've literally been waiting for a call from her for ages. I literally started River's storyline. At the start of waiting for this phone call, and I finished it, and I'm still waiting on the phone call. So I think she's the last one that I'm waiting on. So I'm excited because it's 5
The way
missions,
to get those things to proc is if you fast travel somewhere, drive a couple of 100 meters, put the time forward, drive a couple of 100 meters, put the time forward, drive, and it'll eventually come true.
Okay, because that's why I was like, I'll keep it tracked, so that'll probably say to the game, I want to do this.
No, if some of them take like 3 or 4 days to call in-game days. So if you put the day forward by 24 hours and then drive for a minute or 2 and then do the same again, she'll eventually call you.
Kicks it. Okay, I'll try that then, because I'm ready to do it now, because I think hers is the last storyline. And then I'm gonna grab the collector's edition of the walkthrough and get all the collectibles and do all the iconic weapons and stuff like that, because that was the one thing I'm actually enjoying about it. I'm literally just picking what's the highest DPS and just rotating in and out. Like I'm not going specific builds and stuff, just to get a feel for everything. So I'm dropping like iconic weapons, and I'm kind of like, oh, that's really cool. But then I drop a purple that's fucking higher, and I'm like, I'll just use that.
Yeah, I think that's probably what way they should have made that game. That they should have just had all of the basic AR, the basic pistols. They should have just had a base value for all of those. And then it's the iconic weapons that you aim for, that they're special variants of those. Like they are, like the iconic weapons are the ones you should be using because they are better when you upgrade them. But I think the way that they did a lot of the loot made it feel like a Destiny or something where, I'm using this gun till I get a better version of it, and then I'm gonna you're leveling up. Whereas if they had just made base stats across the board, it would have felt less. I don't know the word. less loot or
feels
shootery.
overpopulated.
Yeah.
With average.
Yeah.
Like,
whereas it's the iconic weapons that are ones that really have powerful effects, or.
And that's one thing I haven't looked into. Like, if I got an iconic weapon when I was level 10, and as opposed to level 20, like that, obviously the DPS would change and stuff like that on it as well.
Yeah, you can level them up though. You can go into and level them up and bring them up.
And that's one thing I will actually do on the PS5 version is spec into crafting, because I was tinkering with them the other day, and I have literally fuck all materials to craft, and I was kind of like, I feel like I'm looting everything when I'm fucking going around, but it's the rare components and the fucking purple and the goldens and stuff like that I'm kind of short on. So yeah, I think that'll be something that I'll go into more detail. But other than that, I've just been started Hawkeye actually the other night. We blitzed through 5 episodes so far. It's really good, really good.
Yeah, we're really far behind on all the Marvel,
TV,
Disney Marvel stuff, the Disney Plus Marvel stuff. So we need to just sit down and power through it.
It's cool just how they coincide. Like it's literally Easter egg level, but you're seeing it on live action. It was really good. And it's just Destiny for the 30th anniversary. So
yeah,
pretty average.
Yeah, that's mainly all I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. I actually went to a concert last week.
Oh, nice.
Fucking Chris Jericho's band were playing, Fozzy. 2 of the lads had tickets. And they were like, oh, we have a spare ticket. Do you want to come? I was like, yeah, fucking why not? It's Chris Jericho. I love Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
And like they were look, it was a good, they were decent. I'm not going to, they're way better than I expected them to be. The support bands were like really, really good though. So can listen to them. But yeah, apart from me going to that gig, all I've playing is Destiny. So if you want to dive in and start talking about the 30th anniversary, we can.
Yeah. So 30th anniversary came out about a week ago now, wasn't it? A week and a half?
Tuesday
last week, and it's Thursday now. Was it Yeah, Thursday. It came out at a time where I'm okay with Destiny not coming out till the end of February.
Yeah, same actually. Yeah. How did you feel actually? How did you feel coming up to 30th anniversary stuff coming out? Because I know a lot of people were really excited for it. But how did you feel?
I just wasn't excited for it, and I don't know what it is. Like even up to playing the first, I wouldn't even say mission, just the first what's called Dares of Eternity. The first run through with that, I was kind of like, I felt it was nothing to do with the game and what they delivered. It was just, I'm sick of doing this. Like I'm logging in again to do another 6-man activity that's just go through 3 or 4 boss rooms, kill the bosses, and then like it's not. Don't get me wrong,
it's fun. It is fun to do.
It is enjoyable, but I think it's just that franchise fatigue. It's kind of hitting a little bit more, and I need a bit more to kind of research that, because I done the Dares.
All that there really is Dares of Eternity, which is the 6-man, and then the
dungeon. Yeah,
and that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, it's a stopgap between the expansions. But it was one of those, I got to Orbit after, and I was kind of like, well, I haven't got a team for the dungeon, and I've done what I need to do up to Galahorn. So I was like, I don't want to do anything else. Like, there was nothing, I was kind of like, oh, I want to grind this for hours. Do you know, kind of way? Yeah. Were you the same?
Yeah, like in the week coming up to it, I was kind of like, I wish this wasn't coming out for another couple of weeks. I'm really not, I'm just not excited for this. And it was nothing about, fuck Destiny, I hate Destiny. It wasn't anything like that. It was just, I'm just not hyped for it. And I knew that once it came out, I'd be playing it like a lot, because I always play the new Destiny content a hell of a lot. Yes, Liverpool just scored. And nice. I just wasn't hyped for it at all. I've played a hell of a lot of it now that it has come out. But again, like you, I'm just kind of like, it's a stopgap. And the way I'm looking at it is, the quicker I can get everything done, the quicker I can go play other stuff until February. And I don't even mean that in a bad way. I'm just like, how quickly can I finish all of this stuff so it's not lingering over me for the next few months?
Yeah, to say you didn't miss out on this armor set or weapons and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like, there's a few triumphs that I want to tick off before then. Like, I want to tick off the seal. I want to tick off the seasonal triumphs just to get them done. But I'm waiting for weeks like when it's Gambit week, that we just sit down for a few hours in one day and just power through it and just get it done. And that's how I'm kind of feeling about the whole thing. It's just like, I just want to get what I want from it, move on, and then wait till February when Witch Queen comes out, and then we can just deep dive into that, rather than dragging this out for 2 or 3 months and then going, oh, when's Witch Queen out? I want to take a break from Destiny. Oh, it's out next week.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to finishing.
It's not a bad thing on the content itself, because it's just the whole, like, DMC, for example. This is only his 2nd season. I'm sure this is like the best.
He hasn't been playing.
Oh, he hasn't?
No, he's playing Apex.
All right. Other example.
But no,
like, if you're early on in the game, like in the franchise itself, I'd say it's fantastic, because like the 6-man activity, it is one of the best 6-man activities that we got.
It is literally go in there, kill shit, get rewards.
Yeah. But bear in mind, we've had 6 or 7 6-man activities over the course of the last 2 years, and it's kind of like, right, it's the same formula, just different coating on it. And
I actually think you can extend that to the dungeon a bit as well. Like, we'll get into the dungeon in a second, but yeah, I do agree. It's the same formula, and it has begun. A lot of stuff in Destiny does feel quite formulaic right now. Yeah. And I really hope, and I'll get into why in a minute, but I really hope that Witch Queen brings a change to that formula, and just changes it up, because it is starting to feel repetitive. Isn't the word, but predictable.
Samey, yeah.
It's starting to be a bit predictable, and that goes for end game activities as well. That you kind of go in, you kind of like, I've done this before, just in a different color.
Yeah.
It's now red. I did it last season in blue. The season before it was green, and it's the same. Yeah. It's the same thing, just in a different way. I just hope that they can change up that formula to make it less predictable, so that when Witch Queen drops, it's kind of like, oh shit, we haven't done this before.
It's new. Yeah. Which Beyond Light brought that, and Shadowkeep brought that, and whatever the one before that was.
Forsaken.
But Forsaken.
I think since Forsaken, it's been quite samey.
Yeah, I think I was so hyped for Beyond Light to be more than it was, that I was kind of a bit, not let down, but I wasn't as into it, like collectible wise, seal wise, just completionist wise, as I thought I would be. And it's hard to put your finger on that when you've been playing the same thing for the last 7 years. Like, it is really, really hard, because it's nothing bad. It's not like, they're just copy pasting everything. It's just the same thing we got last season, and I hate this game, blah blah blah. It just doesn't give you the same feel that it once used to give you. And I think, like you said, it needs to be something big to kind of re-spark that. And for me right now, that feels like slapping a tree on something and getting completely new everything, because playlists just don't want to jump into them. Like I was saying, after doing the new seasonal activity, I was like, there's nothing else I want to do after that. But it's just how.
I think you're right in saying that. It is. I don't like saying it's repetitive, or it's the same, but you're right in that they aren't just, it's not just reskin content. It's not. They're doing the same.
Oh, it's not.
They're giving us new things to do and new things to chase. But I think where I think it's become quite repetitive is, like, we're doing a similar thing in a new activity. So if you compare 2 raids together, it's pick this up, bring it to here to get a buff, do your damage, move on.
Yeah.
And I think Vault of Glass coming out in the middle of the summer felt so different to anything like that, because there is no... Vault of Glass is obviously the first raid that came out that 7 years ago, that they've moved on mechanic-wise from that it felt fresh, even though it wasn't. Because you look at, like, within raids or within dungeons over the last couple of years, we've been playing a different style of Gambit in raid encounters, and we can only play so many different kinds of Gambit before it starts to get a bit boring. And I think that's where it's kind of at the moment, in that I understand that it's not like a Final Fantasy Online or a World of Warcraft or any other MMOs you've got. It's a first-person shooter, so they're limited in the styles of mechanics that they can give us. They are limited in what they can actually do without it just becoming, I don't know, too much of a clusterfuck. So it is going to start to feel samey at some stage. And I think that's where, like, what did you think of the dungeon? Like, I'm personally, like, it's my least favorite of all the dungeons.
Yeah.
Even though I think it's great, I think it's enjoyable. It's long. There's good encounters, but it's my least favorite of the dungeons because you do the same thing from start to finish.
Yeah, like I think it really fell into the we're gonna make this long for the sake of it being long, rather than condensing everything in, and there's a lot of running around. There's a lot of going from boss to boss rather than like
Last one.
doing everything in the middle. Yeah, it's fun. It's good. I mean, it's another way to earn end game level loot like Ice Luna and Matador and Thousand Yard Stare. Same with the armor set. It's the torn armor set behind it, so it is kind of something to chase on that front. But once I have all that, will I want to go in every week and do it? No. Like it feels like the Scourge of dungeons, but if Scourge was longer. Like it was hard to get people to do Scourge, and that
I actually
took like
think
4
this
minutes to do.
dungeon is longer than Scourge.
Yeah, like it's literally like the first encounter on Scourge is like, oh fuck, we have to go like do the map reading and stuff for that, and it was just tedious. And this feels tedious. Yeah, like if you want to go through the encounters, like to be honest, I still don't have a massive grasp on each encounter. Not that I haven't been involved in it. It's just like, okay.
Yeah. Like, I think all the encounters are quite similar in the way you do them, and it's become the Destiny way. Like, I do a lot. We do a lot of raid Sherpas and dungeon Sherpas and stuff like that for people, and I found since Garden of Salvation, especially. I think, Garden of Salvation came out. Yeah, since Garden of Salvation, I start every raid explanation the exact same now. In that it's like, so in this raid, you're gonna have these two mechanics. The first encounter is gonna teach you this mechanic. The second encounter is gonna teach you this mechanic. The third encounter is gonna combine those two together, and then the final encounter is gonna combine those two together with a little extra plus boss DPS. And that's the way. And that's the way this dungeon is as well. It gives you the engram pickup mechanic, which is play Gambit. You drain it into the crystal, which is banking motes in Gambit. And then the other one is you get the Scorch Cannon from the Vandals, which you use to open the doors. Oh, and then you just combine those two together in encounters. And that's all this. And then for the final, you've got a Sparrow section in the middle of it. And then the final encounter is you do that in reverse. So you kill all the enemies, you get the Scorch Cannon to give you your engrams, and then that. So I think mechanically it's very, very straightforward and simple.
Yeah.
And I think that's great for people that haven't done a lot of this stuff in the past, because it's not like King's Fall where every single encounter has a totally different mechanic, or a Last Wish where you've like this common theme through Last Wish is the diagrams, the pictures of the snakes, the birds, the dragons, whatever.
Yeah. The icons and stuff.
The icons, that's the word I couldn't think of, the icons. So the icons are similar throughout that whole raid, but each actual encounter is completely different to the previous one. Whereas if you look at the new dungeon, or Prophecy, which I love Prophecy, but Prophecy where you dark and the light, and then you cleanse the plates or the pillars, or Deepstone Crypt with the augments, like the end game activities have become very formulaic. And I think while from a Sherpa's point of view, that's fantastic because it's easy to explain it. Or from a kind of, I don't want to say an amateur, but kind of a rookie raider, someone who doesn't do this shit 100 times or 200 times when it comes out. For those sort of people, it's great because they can get through it, or they can do it with LFG teams. They can figure it out, and it's easy to do. But from seasoned raiders who do this stuff a lot, it becomes very tedious. Isn't the right word, because I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I'm not complaining. I love Destiny and I love raiding and I love dungeons. I just want a bit more of a challenge again.
Yeah,
I think they've become formulaic. So you look, sorry, at some point there I stopped recording, so I'm trying to catch up where I was. Now what I was kind of saying was that Destiny 2 raids are like, they give you a mechanic and then expand on that mechanic within each encounter. Whereas you look at the D1 raids, Fault of Glass or Crota's End or King's Fall, moving my mouse this way, like each encounter was different to the previous one. Whereas now it's, here's your mechanic, we're going to expand that mechanic and expand it again and expand it again. And I just hope we get more what we used to get, because it was more hard. It was harder. It was more of a challenge. And yeah.
Like it does feel now that... I won't go through
the full rant.
That was the condensed version of the TLDR.
Yeah.
But it does feel like when you go into an encounter now, after the first one, it's expected that it's like, right, we can start off with this because we know we done this in the last one, so the same plates are there, or the same whatever you have to hold is there, or the same kind of wherever you dunk stuff is there. So it's like it's giving you a bit of hand holding when it comes to figuring out the mechanics. Whereas, like I said, in the old school D1 raids, it was literally like, here's a room, good luck,
yeah,
figure it out. What you done last time? Nah, that's different boss, different caliber. Just
like Vault of Glass had a team through it in that it had the relic.
Yeah.
Or Last Wish had the icons, as I was saying. But each encounter was a different puzzle to solve. Whereas now it kind of feels like, oh, you figure out the first puzzle, that's the majority of the next puzzle. And the next puzzle after that is mainly figured out by doing puzzle 2. And it just,
Do you think
I don't want to
it's
sound
one
like
of
I'm
those
complaining.
things? No, because it's not. It's in a constructive way, and it's not even giving out about it. It's just like, it could have been different or could have been better. But do you think that's just purely because, same with dungeons, you've done so many, like you've done this is end game content.
Yeah, like that's part
and
of
it's
it, definitely.
Like you're saying, they're limited with what they can do to surprise you now, and it's kind of like, it's nothing bad that they're doing, but it's kind of like, we have to think so outside the box here that people can't guess.
And how do they do that? How do they do that? Because half the time when they try to think outside the box, we just brute force the fucking encounter anyway, because we're so fucking
bringing it to less
overpowered.
But it feels like what we get versus what a newer player gets, like experience wise, could be polar opposite.
Yeah,
like there's still people out there that pump hundreds of hours into Destiny weekly, and I'm like, what are you doing? Because like everyone gets something different from the game, and that's obviously the beauty of it. But when you reach this kind of impasse where you're kind of like, something new comes out and you're like, I've done it all in the first week, I'm kind of like, I'm nearing the end of it now, whereas this is like repetitive end game content that you should be doing and looking forward to, you know.
I'm just looking forward. I'm looking forward to, like, it's not a nice way to look at it, but I'm looking forward to getting what I want from it, so I don't have to do it again.
Yeah.
And like, if you look at, like, I did Prophecy hundreds of times because I just enjoyed running it, whereas with this, I'm already at the point where I'm like, oh, do I have to run this whole thing again? Let's just do a boss checkpoint.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to start just doing, because boss checkpoint is where you get Eyes Luna and 1,000 yards there.
Yeah,
well, why would you do the other 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Do it once a week to get your armor set, and then don't do it again.
And it feels like, I always find it's a bit bittersweet when it comes to stuff that's, I don't like saying locked behind endgame content, because it's like the endgame is the pinnacle of the activity. It has to be the highest in the game, like to work towards and strive towards earning. But it's like, it feels it's at that stage now where it's, once you get what it is from the endgame, like what do you use it on? Like what's the point? Not what's the point of having it, but it's not like you're going to get it to use it in the raid. It's not like you're going to get it to go back to the start of the dungeon and utilize it. It just
like
feels
that's
like
a fair point. Like, why do I want an Eyes Luna? I'm not playing PvP anymore, so
yeah.
What do I actually want? Now, saying that, I actually got a God Roll Eyes Luna on my first dungeon, so
no.
I'm saying,
what is the God Roll actually?
The one I wanted was Rapid Hit Kill Clip, which is what I got.
Oh, nice.
So, different people want different things, but that's what I wanted. Same with
it's like when you ask some people what's the God Roll and they say like Ambitious Assassin, Demolitionist, then you're kind of like, okay, that's your God Roll.
That's your God. Yeah, those God Rolls you see bouncing around, they're funny. I find really weird sometimes. But yeah, I think just to touch back on like wanting something fresh and surprising you, I think that's why a lot of people have bounced out of Destiny in the last 12 months or 18 months. That, and it's not Bungie's fault. Like, you can only do so much in your game.
Yeah.
But they want something new. It's franchise fatigue, and a lot of people have bounced into stuff like Valheim or into Final Fantasy Online or into what's that one you were playing? Amazon's one.
Oh, New World.
New World, like that sort of stuff. People have bounced into stuff like that because it's like it's something totally fresh and totally different, and it catches them by surprise. Like I've been playing a lot more single player stuff again than what I had done for a long time because I want new stories. I want something new.
Yeah.
So.
And it is unfortunate that it is at this stage, but in 2 months' time we'll probably be saying this is the best game ever. I can't believe like they've done this and like
hopefully. But I messaged Stephen the night the dungeon came out, just been like, I don't like the dungeon. Like I don't have a problem with it, but I don't love it.
I think our expectancy is too high now. That's kind of
it
like
is what it is.
Like to me, the boss fight, like the end boss fight, it's very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Like, what you're actually doing mechanic wise, like just getting the cannon to shoot the engrams down to literally pick 10 each and then bring it into the middle, and then its shield comes down. I'm kind of like.
Yeah. Now I'd say I enjoyed doing my solo flawless of it because it felt like a bit of a challenge. Because you're doing all that by yourself, but I'll also say it was the easiest solo flawless I've done.
Oh really?
It was I found it very easy. It was just kind of like once I got literally through the jumping stuff at the start, because I was kind of I wasn't even like I was kind of like I've got 2 hours before me and Louise are going somewhere. I'll do my solo flawless.
Just give it a shot.
I was like I'll get used to it, and I died 3 or 4 times literally to jumping to the like traps that catch you, because I was running along while reading Discord. So I was kind of like, oh shit, there's a trap. I was reading a message from somebody, or I was doing Pokemon Go raids while running through it. But once I got to the ogre encounter for the first time, I flew through the rest of it.
Straightforward.
Easy.
Yeah.
So,
like I feel like when it comes to bosses, we're very hard to please because it's like if it's just take the shield down, do damage, take the shield down, do damage, we're not happy. If it's like a bullet sponge, we're not happy. If it's just a fucking meltable, we're not happy.
If I had a stomp mechanic, we fucking hate it.
We're not happy, no. Whereas I feel like we should, like, moving bosses, like, transitioning from one damage period to another, being in a completely different area or completely different, like, remap the room or something. Like the last boss in Prophecy, the way he zoomed through that the area. I know it was the cool. Same platforms, but it's not bullshit where he teleports. It was
something different.
Yeah, you have to keep on your toes. You can't just stand in a well and just fucking output damage.
Which is what this is. It literally stand in a well and shoot with 1K and shoot with 1K voices.
Yeah. So.
Look, I know I'm not in like I don't want to sound like I'm complaining because I'm not. I've done it 20 something times already. I've been playing a ton of Destiny in the last week. Yeah. So I'm obviously enjoying myself.
Enjoying it to stick with it.
But it is more of the case of I want to just get through this content so I can just. I want to go play the Halo campaign just while I have Game Pass. I get to play Halo for free. I want to see what this campaign is. I want to finish Pokemon. I want to play Senua's Sacrifice Hellblade because if you watch the Game Awards, fuck me, that game looks insane. Like that's gameplay. It's incredible. So I'm just in that kind of situation where I want to get through the Destiny stuff so I can go do everything else because I don't want to miss out on stuff now. So that in that last week before Witch Queen, I'm rushing to get through things. I just want to get it out of the way before the end of the year, and then
because it will fly in as well.
It will. Oh, fucking this year's been it's Christmas next week again. Like it's crazy.
But imagine having this opinion on the game and not saying Bungie are the worst company ever because they're not tailoring every piece of content for me specifically. Yeah, it is what it is. Some things hit you, some things don't hit you. Like. There's plenty more out there.
Exactly.
Dip in for how long it is that you keeps your fucking attention.
Let's talk about some of them other things.
Yeah.
Look at that for a segue. Look at that for a segue. Right, Dill. It's your podcast recording. Stevens is tomorrow. Stevens is in 20 minutes. No, Stevens tomorrow. So
Steven is here.
I'll let you kick it off.
Yeah, so
you said you had
game of the
three.
year.
You said you had 3 on your list for potential game of the year. Give me them
I
in
had 3,
reverse
yes.
order. Keep your game of the year for last.
Okay, so my honorable mention at third. Now, 2 of these came out this year, and one of them is my favorite that I've played this year. If
Keep
I
the,
had to finish,
keep the favorite of this year till after your game of the year.
yeah,
Because that's when I'll
So-
do mine as well.
Cyberpunk would have been up there if I had have finished it, and if I had have started it properly and continued it on. But that's
See,
I think that's just because I'm
just
playing
for
it right
what
now.
it's worth. From game of the year here for me, I'm doing calendar year, so January to December.
Yeah,
I know in Game Awards terms, Cyberpunk is available, but I'm leaving it out because it was not a 2021 game. Because if it was, it'd be my game of the year because I fucking love
That's
that
fair.
game.
because you can see Cyberpunk there.
I kind of like it.
There. I really want that controller. I've been looking loads of places online, can't find it. But anyway, that one, yeah, it's really cool.
It looks really badly used and worn, but that's just the design of it.
That's the style that they
Yeah,
went for.
the
With Johnny and his
aesthetic.
etching in and stuff like that.
Are you buying the NZXT Cyberpunk case?
No, because it doesn't look nice.
I don't like it.
Not that it doesn't look nice. It's just like,
Do you know what?
Yeah,
If
it's
it
okay.
was Samurai or
yeah,
based off
Arasaka
one
doesn't
of
really feel like it carries a lot of
yeah, it's
franchise
what the whole
weight with it.
game is around, but like they're the bad guys.
Yeah, I do like the glass though, the tempered.
Yeah,
the
it's
look
cool.
on it. That's really cool.
Cool.
And
Right,
the color
anyway,
scheme, but yeah,
shut
sorry.
Shut up
Cyberpunk-
talking about Cyberpunk. Kev.
My honorable mention in third was, and you know what? Not that I completely forgot about it, but I didn't fall off it quickly. It was like I played it, I completed it, I had my time with it, and I was happy with it.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Okay. And it was the first game I played that blew me away on the Switch this year.
Oh, I didn't know where you're going with this.
Monster Hunter Rise.
Okay.
That gets my honorable mention.
Do you know, that's a funny one. That actually didn't get a lot of talk.
Yeah, and it was
at the
March.
Game
Like I
Awards,
thought
yeah.
it was just beyond the period, but no, it was
Yeah,
March.
no.
So like the quarter, well, first third of the
Yeah,
year.
I think it was nominated for like one or bye Loki. I think it was nominated for like 1 or 2 things. Like, yeah, I think that might have suffered from it came out earlier in the year syndrome.
Yeah. It's like it's not
Keep
familiar
talking.
at
I'm
the
grabbing a
time.
can of Coke.
Yeah, but yeah, Monster Hunter Rise. I was buzzed for that to come out because I played World and I wasn't the biggest fan of World because I like easy games. Well, not easy games. I just felt it was very hard. I tried to play a co-op and it doesn't let you. Blah blah. It was my first experience in the Monster Hunter franchise, and I got slapped around. So I was like, I don't like this. But I said I'll jump back in. I'll give Rise a go, and I loved it. Not because it was easier, but it was a different kind of condensed experience. You have your hub. You go out on your hunts. Very very similar to World, but it just felt more condensed, more kind of golden lined or fucking point A to point B. You go do your hunt, you get your shit to fucking craft your gear, you go back, you craft your gear, you go for the higher level monster. I finished that. I think I played for a good 2 months straight. Till the first, not DLC came out, but the first kind of content drop. Yeah, like for something that is of that caliber, that ran that well on the Switch, like demand wise, was fantastic. And I played that whole game in handheld mode. Oh, sorry, I plugged it in once, and obviously you do notice the massive increase in frames, but didn't have any stutters, no complications, no connectivity issues, and I was playing this co-op online with randoms from who knows the God where in the world. But yeah, I think that was just a really fun game to play on the Switch, and I was really glad it came out handheld first, because I think if it had came out PC port first and then on the Switch, it would have been like, oh, you're losing out on X, Y, and Z. But yeah, I was looking back through my list of what I played for the year, and you know that it really stood out as it was a nice reintroduction to a franchise that I'd given up on, that kind of surprised me, especially with how powerful it felt on the Switch and how easy to pick up it was for someone who hadn't played much of the franchise before. Yeah, very good. That's my first one. So do you want to chime in with one of yours, or do you want me to just go through?
No, I'm gonna try. I'll come in with one of mine. I just want to check something real quickly before I do.
It came out December 31st, 2020.
1997. No, I just want to check something real quickly in my library. Yeah, okay. I'm such a PlayStation chill this year, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, AAA PlayStation shield.
All of my fucking my top 3 games of the year are all placed. Well, my top game of the year hasn't released yet because it's Elden Ring. But I played the fucking I played the server test.
Yeah.
I'm technically no, I'm not choosing that. No, like my top 3 games of the year are all PlayStation exclusives. Well, one's not. One's a console exclusive. But yeah, there's lots of stuff that's come out this year that I think was very, very good. Like, I thought Deathloop was very good, but I wouldn't have it as one of my games of the year. Like Forza Horizon 5, I think it is. That was excellent, but I'm not a car game fan, but I can sit there and go, I can see why this is excellent.
You appreciate it. Yeah.
I appreciate it, but I bounced off it very quickly. I bought Metroid Dread for
nice
€6, I think I got it for the end. But I haven't played it yet, so I can't include that because
that was very high on a lot of people's lists.
It was very high, so I meant to play it, but I just never got around to it. So I'll start with probably my third top game of the year, and it's probably, like you said, it was the first one that blew you away on the Switch. This was the first one that blew me away on the PS5, and it was Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Okay.
Yeah, I absolutely loved the game. I was excited to play it. It came out. The gameplay was tight. It looked fantastic. The whole opening the rifts and going through them to a different world was incredible every single time you did it.
Seamlessly as well.
Seamlessly, no loading. The writing is for a younger audience. Don't get me wrong. The story is for a younger audience. But in terms of gameplay and how it looked and all that, I've absolutely loved the game. I platinumed it. I actually platinumed 2 of my 3 games on this list. So go me. But yeah, I platinumed 3 out of 4 if I include my favorite game of the year. But Ratchet and Clank, it was. I think it actually was nominated for Game of the Year, and it absolutely deserved it. It looked absolutely brilliant. It played absolutely brilliant.
It was very innovative with PS5 technology, wasn't it?
It was. It was, and it kind of whet the appetite for the other.
What's capable of.
The other going from world to world or biome to biome game that was to come. It probably was overshadowed a bit when that came out, but yeah, Ratchet and Clank was. It was a fun experience from start to finish. I know you you struggled to get through it a bit.
Yeah, I finished it, but I wasn't not that I wasn't blown away. I loved everything that it utilized in terms of PS5's capabilities and with the haptic feedback, all that kind of stuff. But I think it was the younger writing, the younger appeal that kind of tipped it the other way for me. But visually stunning, world-wise amazing. It's But that's an.
I might be wrong. I think it was the first PS5 game that had ray tracing. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, the world was absolutely stunning. I don't even know if it was nominated for Best Art Direction. Somehow Deathloop took that award, but we won't talk about that. Literally,
did that take art direction as well?
That won Best Art Direction, which
wow, okay,
absolute nonsense. I'm sorry, it is nonsense. I'm not saying Ratchet and Clank should have won it. I'm not saying any of my Kena Bridge of Spirits was a way better game art wise than that, and that's just
got best indie, didn't it?
That got best indie, and it absolutely deserved it.
Which is amazing especially for their first fucking game as well.
Yeah, give them a bag of money, Sony. Give them a bag of money.
No pressure. Your first game is being developed for fucking Sony as well.
Nah, they killed it with that. They absolutely killed it with that game.
Ratchet and Clank were nominated for a lot. They were nominated for art direction.
They were.
Just looking at it here, yeah.
What else was nominated for art direction? Because there was something that should have won art direction that didn't.
Best art direction was Artful Escape, from Beethoven and Dinosaur and Annapurna. Deathloop by Arcane Bethesda. Kena Bridge of Spirits by Ember Labs. Psychonauts 2 by Double Fine and Xbox Original. And Ratchet and Clank by Insomniac.
Psychonauts should have won best art direction over Deathloop. Haven't played it, but it should have won over Deathloop.
I think everything should have won. Artful Escape, I haven't seen much of them. Literally just the still that I'm looking at.
I would have had Deathloop near the end of my list for that. But anyway.
Yeah. Like art style in Deathloop looks to me like very much Outer Worlds kind of Fallout, that RPG open world kind of stylized kind of thing. But
I don't think it was best art direction.
We don't make the choices.
I don't exactly. We don't make the choices. We don't.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and it's not. It wasn't publicly voted, wasn't it? It was all like a panel.
It's a mix. Like the public have a say, but it's like 20% of the vote. It's like your Irish oral test.
Doesn't sway.
It counts for very little. Yeah. No, it's. I don't know how it's voted for. It's I think there's like a board that choose whatever. So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel.
Going for my game of the year. I don't think it's any surprise because I finished very few games this year. I played a lot of open world.
I've finished way more games in the last 12 months than for several years.
The last 12 years.
Yeah. I've played loads this year.
And it's satisfying ticking off that list, isn't it?
It is.
Like going through it and just saying, right, that's that done. I don't have to not worry about it, but it's like I can move on to the next thing. I can put it behind me. And not have to delete it off your PlayStation hard drive because this PS5 can hold more than 2 games.
Just about.
Just about.
Just don't install a Call of Duty.
Or 2 of them.
Or 2 of them.
My game of the year. I was hyped from the second I saw this back in, was it August?
It was a very short cycle.
Yeah.
They kind of showed it off and then it was out a couple of months later.
Yeah, and what they did show off, people were kind of like, "Ooh, no, take it back, burn it, kill it." Which was Guardians of the Galaxy. Played on PS5. It was the most fun I've had playing console. I was just itching to play more. I was very close to going back and collecting everything and platinum, and because I'm not like that. Not that I don't like doing stuff like that, but I'm like, once I finish the story, I finish the game type thing. But I think it's just the universe. We knew it didn't have to kind of set the stage for characters. It was very familiar. Like we've had movies based around the same franchise. We know personalities. We know how they bounce off each other. So it's kind of like they got to skip all that without having to build it and not just played catch up, but just like literally dropped in on a new story. Visually, the world was incredible. At first, when I saw the first trailer and gameplay, I just assumed it was going to be very samey kind of environment wise. Like biomes weren't going to be drastically different, and if they were, it was just a new
and
fucking
it was very different
color on the scale. But no, it was so different. Yeah, from fucking plant life to just the environment itself, everything was so different on each planet that it wanted you to explore. It was very kind of semi-linear in that sense, whereas like you land on your planet like Jedi Fallen Order, you can
Ratchet and Clank.
Mm-hmm. You have your endpoint right there in front of you, but you can go a little bit to the left and the right if you want, find collectibles and stuff. Interacting with the environment was very minimal in terms of that, because it was that very golden line kind of driven. But the gameplay was one that I was apprehensive about, because it felt like there was so many moving parts just in terms of controlling just Peter and giving directions to your crew, which is one thing I would change for it. Let me jump between the people. Let me use their abilities myself.
I really hope Suicide Squad is that way.
Does that, yeah. But
and it looks like it's gonna.
To me, that's like, it's a criticism, but it's like one of those criticisms that it's like, they know, and they're like, okay, we'll do that next time. And it's one of those things that hopefully with Suicide Squad do it. It's satisfying because it's like they took on board what everyone wanted and they made it a possibility. Yeah, I just loved it. The story was very, very good. It wasn't very obvious either. There was a lot of kind of laying the foundations for one twist, and not saying that it was a twist on a twist, but without saying much, it wasn't very. Oh, I knew that was going to happen, that kind of way. But you kind of think something's going to happen and it doesn't. But yeah, without sounding too fucking, without knowing what's going on, it's hard to explain it.
But I don't know. I've avoided it because I want to play it at some point because I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I love Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
It won Best Narrative, so clearly the story's clearly fucking good. I just can't drop full price when the gameplay is what it is to me.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't played it, so maybe when I play it, I'll be like, oh, I'm an idiot. This is great all along. And I will eventually play it, but I'll get to it at some point.
Exactly. And then you'll probably appreciate it more then because you've waited. Yeah. But like I've
got money sitting in my Steam account there, and I know if I ever see that up for sale for, I don't know, 30 quid or 20
you'll take
quid,
it. Yeah.
I'll be like, you know what?
12 days of Christmas, you never know, it could be on sale.
Yeah, I'll go play it now because I am interested in it. It's just I was so hung up on that gameplay that, and even in the reviews that I watched, none of them really spoke about the gameplay. It was all about the story's great and the characters are great, and I was like, yeah, that's all great, but tell me about the gameplay. Yeah. It's the opposite with Halo. It's like, oh, the gameplay is amazing. It's like, yeah, but tell me about the story. No, you don't need to know about the story. It's the gameplay. Yeah. It's like, I want a broad picture painted for me, and I don't need to know what the ending is, but I want to know, how does it do this? How does it do that? How does it do this? How does it do this?
Is it satisfying?
Yeah, that's a complete package. I'll go get it, and I will eventually play it. I will. I'm not like, nah, fuck that game. I'm not playing it like the Avengers, but I will eventually get to it, and I am looking forward to eventually getting to it because I heard the story is quite good.
Yeah,
I got through The Last of Us Part 2. I can get through anything.
You can fucking close your eyes, go ahead first. But what I liked about the story, it felt like it was a nice balance between playing the game and getting those satisfying cutscenes, and then they threw in semi-playable cutscenes where it's kind of you're moving around, the environment is telling its story, and you get to interact with it a little bit.
I misunderstood what you meant there. I thought you meant quick time events, and they can go fuck
themselves.
They can go fuck themselves.
Oh no, there's a handful of quick time events, but they're not long. I think it's more so finishers. But yeah, just the way the story was told, it was just that gripping story. Like, it literally felt like you were watching a movie, you were playing through a movie. It was, this guy's the bad guy. This is what we have to do. Let's play it out. And like, thinking back on it, like I was thinking back on it earlier on today, and it was a lot. Like, it wasn't a very, like, oh shit, I feel like I've only been playing this for 10 hours and it's finished already. Like, it was substantial without being dragged out as well, which that's where my attention span starts to kind of sway. Like Last of Us Part 2, it's kind of like, I just want this to end. Just give me the culmination. Just tell me how it ends. You Google the chapters and it's literally, you're not even a quarter way through and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's when I actually looked at the chapters, like, I wonder how far I'm in this game, and I saw the chapters kind of like, wait, what? There's 30 something chapters? Oh my god.
I'm on 11. Yeah.
I
think it done a good balance.
I struggle through The Last of Us Part 2. Like, I know we've covered it a lot, but and I don't think it's a bad game. I'm not going to sit here and say, it's shit because Neil Druckmann is blah, 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 and this person is blah. No, I just didn't enjoy the game. Like, I liked the gameplay was actually not too bad for an Naughty Dog game. It was they improved it. The story, it was a deep, well expanded story. I just didn't like that story, and I didn't like the characters that were in that story. I just and it was 30 something hours long. It was just kind of like, if you were people that I spent time with in real life, I would have been with the net. I'd be out of your Discord server by now. I just didn't enjoy it, and But I want to get through this because I love the first game. I love The Last of Us. I just didn't enjoy the second one. And,
You want to see how the arc closes up on itself, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then I didn't like how it ended, so it wasn't even worth it in the end. But
Fuck's sake.
That's entertainment. Some people love how that
Not
game
everything's
ended.
for you.
Some people love how that game ended. I felt like it was a cop-out, but that's just my personal opinion. And I'm sorry, Neil Druckmann, don't block me on Twitter.
Just make a good TV show. Yeah, like that's. I don't think I can say anymore. Like I spoke about it, like when I was during playing it. It's hard because like I'm really in a superhero kind of Marvel buzz at the moment, and it's carried on for the majority of the year.
Oh, I've noticed.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
We've all been there. But at least you're happy. It's not like you're angry and giving out about it. You're happy, so I'm not gonna fucking diss someone being fucking happy about something.
But it does feel like it's an easy kind of pick, but it was the most fun I've had playing on PS5.
If you loved it, you fucking loved it, man.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my my actual game that released this year of the year. And do you know what? I knew it was gonna be amazing, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, holy shit, they're actually doing this. I actually can't wait. Put the pre-order in that week. I was so excited for it. And to have that payout from something, because obviously Avengers tanked the way it did, and it's kind of like, is this fucking part 2 or they're just gonna...
I think people had reservations because of Avengers.
Yeah.
And I think if you chop off, right, if you take the Avengers, right, and put it in front of you, and chop the top of it off, so you get rid of all that live service shit, and all that endgame shit, and you just give people a story that they can play from start to finish. They can change the superhero suit. You can play it with your friends. You can play it by yourself. People would have gone, that's okay. It's the whole live service nonsense and monetization and all that people just went, you know what? Fuck off. You were given an opportunity and you
with
made
one of the biggest IPs in the world. Yeah.
Square Enix were given an opportunity with one of the biggest IPs in the world. They gave it to a development studio that specialized in single player campaign games and asked them to make a live service game. That was fucking stupid, Square Enix.
Yeah. And then come out months later and say, we regret this.
But if you actually look at the Avengers game, and I haven't played it, but I've been kind of paying attention, that the actual single player co-op campaign is actually good.
Enjoyable.
It's everything else that's tied on that just kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
100%. Yeah. Like, every character has a fucking battle pass. And it's
Avengers 2 is every character's going to have an NFT skin.
Yeah, you can get it on your phone. But that's it's like every character you unlock a mission, a line of missions
Guardians
to
Galaxy.
In Avengers to unlock their iconic skin. But give us that for loads of skins. Like that's content right there. Like you could bring out every couple of months. But anyway, that's a different discussion because it tanked. But I think winning the category that Guardians won, best narrative, like that, I'd say drove that point so far home that people, like, Avengers wasn't bad because it was Avengers. It was how it was delivered. Yeah. And Guardians was delivered in the polar opposite way.
They knew what they wanted to make.
Yeah.
And they made it. Yeah.
And they stuck with it as well. It wasn't like, we're going to give you half of it and then we're going to try make a fucking live service or a store out of it. And that must have hurt them a lot because it's like, we should have fucking done this at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then you could have been 3 years
The funny part is, it's from Square Enix as well.
Yeah,
like, it's from
the most frustrating part. Yeah, you could have been 3 games into a fucking franchise now, like Spider-Man.
And then you can tie it together.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Multiverse, bitch.
Anyway.
But yeah, so that was my game of the year of 2021.
But you know what? When I was watching the Game Awards, and there was some that were coming out, you are a Marvel shill. There was some stuff in the Game Awards, like, and basically anything that Deathloop won. I was kind of like, nah, it didn't deserve that. That shouldn't have won that. Forza Horizon won Best Audio Design. I was like, seriously, come on. Like, Returnal runs all the way home with that.
Yeah.
But when I saw Guardians got best narrative, I kind of went, you know what? From what I've heard, it absolutely deserved it.
Can't
Absolutely
counter it,
deserved it. If it hadn't won and something else had it won, you would have gone, you know what? It deserved the nomination at least. But having won, I kind of went, you know what? They delivered a good, strong narrative. Kudos to them.
Yeah. Which means we're getting the next one sooner.
Yeah.
Just the next
bag
that
of money.
kind of
bag of money.
Yeah. So I know what your game of the year is, but
I have a second one. I have a runner-up as well, though.
Oh, okay.
So my runner-up for game of the year was another PlayStation console exclusive. You can get it on PC though on the Epic Game Store, depending on who you talk to. That means it hasn't released on PC until it comes out on Steam because people are weird. Anyway, Kane and Bridge of Spirits was my runner-up. It was, again, I saw it. It was shown last year. I saw it. I went, that game looks amazing. I'm gonna fucking love it when it comes out. And then coming up to release, I was like, we don't really know much about this game. This is a bit...
It's out in 2 days, what?
This is worrying. Like, there's no reviews have gone out. There's no previews. There's no nothing. This is usually a bad sign when this happens.
Are they holding it for all the wrong reasons?
Yeah. And then it came out and I was like, this is the most polished game I've played in about 5 years. It's so well polished. Like, barely any bugs. The only bug I had was on the final boss. It looked beautiful. It's a great soundtrack. The combat was perfect. It had different levels of difficulty. The one I played on was a bit of a challenge that if I made a mess of something, I was dead and blaming the game for being unfair, even though it was totally my own fault. Don't tell Louise I said that. It's always the game's fault. But yeah, and it was so well polished and it was just beautiful looking. The story was nice. It had like an overarching story, and then it had 2 or 3 smaller stories. And it's like, it was a game studio again. It was an independent studio who knew what they wanted to make. They made it. They were trusted to make it. And then it was released out, a complete product for 40 quid, by the way. And it was just a really lovely game. And it was kind of like when I played Ori a couple of years ago. I was like, it's just a nice game. It's nice to just have a nice game sometimes. Now, when you look into and dig a bit deeper into Kane and Bridge of Spirits, it's quite morbid because it's all to do with dead people.
Yeah, but the actual overarching theme. Yeah,
it's death and loss, and it deals with very mature, a very mature plot. But it was just a really nice game, and it was one that I've been looking forward to. And then I played it. I was like, yeah, I love this. This is really nice. So yeah, look, it's on sale at the moment on Epic, so go play it if you haven't played it, because
it's cheaper. What?
Yeah, it's even cheaper than 40 quid. It's like 32 quid now. And if you download Shenmue 3, which is the free game, you get a €10 voucher to spend on any game over €15. So you can literally get it for €22 on Epic. Thank me later, and you can subscribe to us for fucking me telling you that. No, honestly,
I have it.
Kane,
I've played
honestly,
a quarter of the way through, I think.
I think you're further. I think you're near
2 or 3 bosses in, am I?
I think you're probably about halfway through it.
Like that, enjoyed it, just fell off. That's simply it. Nothing bad about the game. I really enjoyed turning ray tracing on and looking at what it actually gave, and it's so good.
Stunning game.
And I think the PS5 is so underrated when it comes to these things because the performance it gives, it's so well. Like
if you look at I can't believe. So one that really drove it home how much more powerful the PS5 is than the PS4 was the recommended requirements for Final Fantasy VII on PC. The requirements to run that game were so low. And I haven't looked into how it launched. It came out today on the Epic Game Store. I don't know how it launched. I haven't paid much attention to it. Apart from the Epic Game Store crashed because Shenmue 3 was free as well. So it kind everyone wanted fucking free shit and Final Fantasy was out. But the recommended requirements were so low for that game. And that obviously came out on PS4 last year. That it was kind of like... It really shows you how underpowered the PS4 was compared to this new generation. Yeah. It was 7 years old, but it kind of shows you what the developers were working with right up to PS5 come out. PS5
literally holding on for dear life.
PS5 is like you're gonna see it once Cyberpunk's next gen update comes out for PS5. It's gonna really show how much better it is than even just playing Cyberpunk PS4 version in a PlayStation 5 console. It actually runs
without having to tinker with 1,000,001 different settings to actually take down fucking crowd density and make sure that like everything isn't trying to spawn in at once and textures loading and stuff. But yeah, I just think it's nice. All you do is turn on the PS5. It's optimized the way it is.
Are you telling me you don't buy games to install them, to do the graphic settings, to uninstall them again?
That's the first 2 hours of everyone's playthrough on anything on PC.
You look at any of my PC games, it's like, Kev opened that and then uninstalled it. He saw what graphics. Like,
your log is crazy.
There's so many games I've literally played the opening hour of just to look at and then I uninstall it again. Oops. But yeah.
That's a good one. Kenner was really good. I was happy it won at the Game Awards because it wasn't nominated for a lot. I think it was art direction and
it got a few. It got best indie, it was nominated for art direction. It won best new IP or something like that. It won best new, and then I think the studio won best new studio. Something
Ember Labs.
Those lines.
Okay.
Yeah, so Ember Labs did well. They deserve it. They fucking made it. They made a good game and it was well polished.
Yeah.
And they deserve it. They deserve it, and I can't wait to see what they do next. Because if that's the first thing they make, holy crap, what are they gonna do next?
Yeah, their next title just got fast tracked.
Yeah,
with millions.
Yeah. I won't deep dive too much into my game of the year because me and Stephen are probably gonna talk about it. We've talked about it before. Yeah. You know what it is. It was robbed of a nomination by not even the best loop game of the year, and it was Returnal. It was. I think Returnal suffered from it came out earlier in the year, so it kind of got overlooked towards nomination time. But Returnal was just it was one of those that I saw, I was on the fence about it until I played it, and then I played it, and I was like, it's a 10 out of 10 game. It's got great gameplay, it's got incredible gameplay, it looks incredible, it has the best audio design of any game I've played this year by a long way. It utilized the new DualShock better than any other game has this year. It had ray tracing. It had you could hear every individual fucking projectile coming at you. You could see every single projectile coming at you because they were lighted so well. It had a interesting and deep story that had a lot of links to Greek mythology and stuff like that. When you really dig into the lore of it, it's like, holy shit, this is like, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah,
it's so deep, and it's interesting. And the mystery, you don't really know what's going on. Then you get the payoff at the end when you get the secret ending, and it's like, oh, it all kind of makes sense and it loops around. But yeah, the gameplay stole that. It was the best gameplay I've played of any game this year. Like,
nice.
The gameplay in that game, a lot of companies could look at Returnal's gameplay and audio design for that matter, but their gameplay and look at that's how to make a good game. Now I get it was wrapped up in a lot of criticism or anger to do with the save, not having a save feature, that people felt it was too hard. Not to sit here and sound like I'm bragging or anything about not finding it that difficult. I enjoy a challenge in the game. It was challenging at times, but once you kind of broke through that barrier,
it's a rhythm.
I get it. Yeah. It's about playing on its terms. But yeah, me and Stephen are probably going to talk about it more because Biome 4,
that linked.
Chef's kiss. Biome 4, Biome 4 deserved an award all for itself. It was just perfect.
Apart from the one boss fight that I did do, that's the only other one I have seen, and for good reason. Yeah.
It was just, but like the whole story was also linked. That song was linked in with the whole story, and it's just, the game was Housemarque thought about it from start to finish, and there's a lot of supporting lore to it. That I'm just fucking holding the fucking controller in my hand. And there's a lot of support and lore that really supports it all. And it's one of those that if it gets its claws into you, you're gonna be obsessed with it.
Yeah, you'll deep dive into that kind of aspect of it.
Yeah, it's by far and away my game of the year. Like, nothing gets anywhere close. Like, when I was playing through Kane, I was like, yeah, I love this. Maybe I prefer the Returnal. And that was just after getting the platinum trophy for Returnal, which was the worst thing I've ever done because it was all on RNG. And it took me longer to get the platinum than to complete the game. Because of that.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy. Because I was literally waiting on one thing. But anyway, some people spend hundreds of hours chasing it. Yeah, it hit the home run for game of the year, and nothing was ever going to catch up to it. It was just the way it was. Nothing was ever going to get close to it.
And because it came out so early as well, to be able to sustain that every time you played something, you knew it wasn't, not that it wasn't going to scratch it, but it was like, it was so solidified that this was the experience.
Yeah. It was, and like, I just think it's funny that when we saw that announced, that me and Stephen both kind of went, meh, pass. And you were kind of like, oh, I like this. It looks really cool.
The universe looks,
How right were you? You were fucking.
And I went the polar opposite way on
this. I absolutely love. Like, it's one of those games. I hope they make either an expansion to it or a DLC or another game. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the same universe because maybe that story has told itself. But another game in the same genre with the same. Just a copy paste with a different story. I'll take it. I'm happy. Thanks, Housemarque. Yeah. But they got their big bag of money out. Like, they've been acquired, so they're a first party Sony studio now. However, there is rumors that it is due to come to PC at some point next year. So that game on PC with an MNK, full ray tracing, DLSS.
Redonkulous.
Give me that. Give me it. I'll pay full price.
3 hours in the sentence.
It's 50 hours. Yeah. Me and Stephen will probably get back to that because I'm assuming Stephen is going to want to talk about that. It's probably
his own
his
things
game
to talk about.
So we'll get back to that. Dill, we'll let you come back in. What was your favorite game you played? I think I know what you're going to say. But what was your favorite game you played this year? That didn't necessarily come out this year.
It's you know the way you said...
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, which still came out this year. Jedi, you said both your games were PlayStation games. Both my games are Marvel games.
I don't know what it is.
You don't? Well, wait, what did you think it was?
I actually thought you were gonna say Cyberpunk.
It's up there now, but I don't.
You haven't finished.
I'm enjoying it, but I haven't finished it. Will I be satisfied when I finish it? I don't know.
Have you met Kerry Eurodyne yet, by the way?
Yes, I've done that whole arc.
Boat song. The boat song. It's perfect.
The boat song?
Oh, you haven't got that far. Never mind.
We just went to fucking... What did we do last? We blew up the three girls as coach.
Oh, you've got a bit to go, yeah. So, yeah, you've got
and quests. Then we made up with them.
Yeah.
And
you've got another quest with him or two quests with him.
Ah, okay, Grant. We went to sabotage their gig, and then they were really nice, and I was like, "Holy shit! You're not the bad guys. I'm not the bad guys. They're the bad guys." So
let's all get drunk.
We're gonna have a talk. See you later. Yeah. It's annoying me because Cyberpunk would have been my game of the year if I had played it start to finish. Because I felt a lot of this playthrough, I was jumping in, trying to figure out where the fuck I was, how to fucking play the game again, how to hack, how to do everything in the middle of the story. So I kind of felt a bit lost for a couple of hours, just trying to find my feet, which wasn't enjoyable, but it was like, right, I have to stick with it and it'll all start making sense and it'll flow. Especially with quests. Side quests really, your relationship with Johnny in your head, if you go back and play an older quest where you're a dickhead to each other, and it's kind of like, no, I like you. Like, stop. Like, I don't want to choose this dialogue because I don't want to say this shit.
I get you. Yeah. Because of the way you
different point in the story.
Because of the way you played it, that would have happened. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I did.
Whereas that naturally progresses.
I literally did every single side quest that I could when they unlocked.
Yeah.
So I got that,
and then went through the main.
Yeah.
Whereas
on the main story, I left till as long as I could.
Yeah. Which I think I want to do that on PlayStation's release because I just want to do everything. I want to completionist the shit out of it. But yeah, that was very close, and I was thinking about throwing it on it, but I think Miles took the took the lead on that.
I forgot all about that. Yeah.
Which was a last year game, but only played it this year because I only got PS5 during the summer. But
forgot about that.
Yeah, Miles was just a very fun iteration of Spider-Man to play. Everything about it, from combat to gameplay, just the smoothness of it, the story, the side missions were nice. They weren't too long. They were more so taking down the, can't remember the name of the guys' bases, and their strongholds and their caches and stuff like that, rather than being too left of field and you were doing like prowler missions and stuff like that, which all kind of tied into the main story. The length of it to me was perfect, like not too long, but just enough to keep that story lengthy enough to flesh it out without feeling rushed. I liked the villain because it was your best friend, and it's the typical Spider-Man's best friend tries to kill him all the time. Yeah, I just really liked, really enjoyed it, especially from not finishing Spider-Man on PS4. I think performance-wise, just it was incredible on PS5. Story was just a typical superhero story with the main bad guy, but like your best friend
trying to blow up the city. Oh no!
Yeah, it's kind of like, we have a nuclear reactor, basically. But yeah, that was my first iteration of Miles. All his abilities with the venom punches and stuff like that.
He's so powerful.
And the invis, he's like shits all over Parker.
Not literally. That'd be weird.
He might be into that kind of stuff.
Keep your fan fiction
PG-13. Yeah. Keep that beside the feet pictures. But yeah, I loved it. Yeah, really liked it. It felt like it told the story the way I wanted it to tell the story. It played the way I wanted it to play. It didn't feel forced at any point, which my attention span with single player games is very, very low if it's not tailoring to what I want. And I know not every game is tailored to what you want. So when you find something that does kind of encapsulate that, it's really satisfying. And obviously it's Marvel and Spider-Man, and I'm into it, so that gets a big thumbs up from me. Yeah, so that was my favorite game played this year that didn't come out this year. And Cyberpunk is very close.
Is there anything you regret not playing this year?
Fucking everything.
I played World of Warcraft and Destiny. I have no time for other games.
That's the thing. Like, yeah. I tried to play. I played WoW recently, and it was like I was leveling up a new character, and it was taking ages, and I was like, how did I max out this character, like this other character, and fucking play end game content, do the dungeons, do the mythic dungeons. Didn't raid, but all the end game stuff, and I was like, I literally no-lifed the shit out of that for a couple of months, and just completely dived in. Whereas I could have played like 5 or 6 fucking single player games in that period. But I think with me, I play what I feel like I want to play. Same with like Avengers. I keep saying it every time. I want to play more of the story. I played a little bit this week for a couple of hours, or last week, sorry. But I don't want to force myself to play it. Same with Demon Souls. I was playing that, and it was just unfortunate that I got COVID during the playthrough, and I was kind of like, it just took my attention span away from that, and I was like, no, I don't want to play it anymore. So it's like, I have Returnal there that you gave me. Like, I still haven't touched that since the fucking first biome.
If they announce DLC for that, I'm driving to Hope.
That's what I was going to Hope. Okay. But I was like, I do want to play it, but it's like, I have to start playing it. I have to kind of kickstart that kind of ambition to want to play it. And once that happens, same with Cyberpunk. Like, I've had this graphics card for 6 months now, and I only started playing it last month. So just because I can play it doesn't mean I want to play it or I should play it. And I think that kind of helps with my experience, because it feels like every game I play is my new game of the year kind of contender, because I'm so into it and I'm so hyped for it, and I really wanted what I got out of it. That that I'll play it when it's time.
Fair enough.
And then Apex will release a new season, and I'll see you later.
Yeah. As is always the case. And last question before I dive into mine did you play anything this year that you fucking hated?
Well, no.
It's that kind of relationship.
Do you know, one thing I regret is not playing games as they release, because I really like that period when something is the flavor of the month and you're seeing it everywhere. You're riding that kind of the hype wave, and it builds it up that much better. But I think I would have liked to finish Returnal and Demon Souls by the year end, because I feel like I have had them quite a while.
Sitting here with a save on Demon Souls for you.
It's like
I'm overpowered as fuck. I'll just kill bosses in one hit now, like Stephen was.
It's like Destiny for me right now. It's not as enjoyable by yourself, but it's enjoyable with more people.
I understand.
You know,
I understand.
And I don't think it's given me that want to play it at the moment, because I'm still only learning how to play it. But yeah, I need to just kind of bunker up and finish it off. But what was the second question? The one I regret. I didn't like
playing, or a game that you played like an hour and just went, no, fuck that, gone.
Valheim.
Oh.
But I played it for like fucking so many hours. I think I was like 50, 60 hours in that game, if not more. We'd no-lifed the shit out of that one. That came out for the first while. But played it, I think we completed all the main bosses and stuff like that. But it was so much bullshitty aspects that I died in the plains that are in the frost area. Oh no, it was the plains. And I was just getting fucking one-tapped by like the wasps or whatever. And it pissed me off so much that I just alt F4'd and never played it again. Never. I haven't touched it. My loot is still on the ground somewhere in a fucking
never to be touched again.
And no. For something that I put so much into, it's like playing Returnal and not liking that when you die you go back to the start again. It's like you do it so much that when it happens one time you're like, no, that's it, done. I can't do it anymore.
That's fair.
But I really enjoyed my play. What I did.
That's like me. Like that was the exact same with me with the First Division game. Like I literally no-lifed it for a month, put in 60, 70, 100, 120 hours, something crazy. And then literally one night just went, I'm done. I hate this game now. And it was when the first raid came out. I can't think of what they were called. Like I literally just went, no, I hate this. I'm done. Bye. I hate this game. I'm not playing it anymore.
Yeah.
Overnight. And I miss playing that. Like when Division first, I loved the Division when it first came out. But when we got to that kind of end game raids, I was kind of like, this is shit. It's
not what it should have went in direction wise.
Now I'm sure it went in that direction later on, but back then I just didn't know.
Yeah, like even Division 2 was great to play through. Played the DLC, The Warlords of New York, when it came out at the time.
I heard that's great, actually. Yeah.
It was like Forsaken. You're hunting down fucking different bosses, and they all have different abilities and their different biomes and stuff like that. Yeah, played quite a bit of kind of live service games like Tribes this year. Tribes of Midgard, which is kind of like they don't get mentions for Game of the Year because it's like it's a period play. You play it for when it releases,
and they're all overshadowed by Final Fantasy 14 online anyway.
Yeah, fucking everything that was nominated for won. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which deservedly as well.
I don't have time for an MMO, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, that player base shot up massively.
I wish I had time for an MMO, but I just don't. So I don't.
Don't uninstall Destiny.
Yeah, I just don't play it because I don't have time for it, unfortunately. And that's that.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything I don't regret playing, because like even I was going through the lists earlier on, and like I said to you, a lot of it carried across different categories, so it didn't seem like it was oversaturated with examples. And what there was and the options was like Resident Evil and stuff, where I know I wouldn't play games like that. Like it's not something that would appeal to me.
And that's the other thing. I wish I was into that because they look great, but I could sit there. If
that.
Stephen was playing it, I could sit and watch Stephen play through it. Or
Yeah.
if Viper was playing it or something. I could sit there and watch them play it and talk to them while playing it. But for me to sit down and play a Silent Hill or a Resident Evil, I'm sorry, I don't have enough spare pairs of pants. I can't do it. I can't do horror. It just I wish I could. And maybe someday I'll get over it.
There's so many good games out there in that
I'd
genre.
Love to be into it, but I just can't.
And especially in fucking higher end graphics, we don't need to experience that.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah.
I can suspend belief for older ones. Yeah. But those newer ones, shit's too realistic.
When the zombie looks like a fucking cardboard cutout, we'll take that.
Yeah. And moves like a cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
You alright, bud?
Yeah, I think that's my list that I have here.
Yeah.
That's everything I touched on. Like, to me, Apex is my favorite game of the year because like it's something that I play and I'm like really, really excited every time I play it, and it's just the same with Destiny. It doesn't fall into that kind of. It doesn't warrant being called game of the year or kind of best experience or best. I thought it was funny when Apex were actually nominated for best community ongoing support or something like that. Ongoing community support, something like that. And it was kind of like they do not listen to community. That game was literally shut down for like 3 weeks, unplayable, because they literally just stayed silent. It was funny. Whereas now they've obviously taken that on a chain and they've gone in a new direction. They're listening, but yeah, just thought it was funny given the category that was mentioned in. But anyway, yeah, that's me. So I don't know if you have anything else you want to add onto that.
Go through my favorite game I played this year.
That didn't release this year.
Like, look, I'm not going to go into Cyberpunk because I've spoken about that enough. And I played that mostly last year. But my favorite game I played this year was Demon's Souls. I didn't start until this year. And I kind of started it, played a bit, then fell out of it because I was doing other things. But then I got back into it and just farmed my way to the end of it. Farmed my way to a platinum and just absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorite Souls. It's one of my favorite FromSoft games. Sekiro still takes the crown. Bloodborne close second, but I'd say I prefer Demon's Souls to the Dark Souls games. I just loved it. I just loved the setting. I loved the world. The combat was what it is. I just really enjoyed my time with it. So that would be my favorite game that I've played this year.
Do you think because like that's to me that's your favorite genre of game, like that, the Souls like or whatever they're called now? Do you think you could play them back to back, or do you think it's nice getting it every couple of years, or getting it in that period where it's like
I struggle to go to the older ones now.
Yeah.
So I struggle to go to Dark Souls or Dark Souls 2 or 3, having played the more optimized ones or the ones that look better, and played Elden Ring. But I could go from Sekiro to Bloodborne to Demon's Souls to Elden Ring, no problem.
Okay.
Or Dark Souls. Because you did play. I could fit Dark Souls 3 in there, but I'd struggle to play Dark Souls 1 just because it's aged now.
Yeah.
I don't do well with things that age. I survive like movies. Movies. I'm into my 80s sci-fi, that sort of stuff. But like a game that came out 15, 20 years ago, I struggle. I know some people love it. I know some people love going and playing the games from their childhood. But I kind of look at them and go, no, I've got nice fond memories of you. I'm not gonna ruin it.
Let's not find the bullshit that I overlooked when I was younger. Yeah.
But no,
because you played Demon's Souls as the technical test came out for Elden Ring.
Yeah, that's what I played Elden Ring, and that's what kind of shot me back into Demon's Souls. Yeah. I played Elden Ring, played it hard for that weekend that we could play it, and then I was like, right, I need my Souls fix. I haven't finished Demon's Souls yet. Let's go finish that. And then, really enjoyed my time with it. And then I went and played it again on New Game Plus, and got through that in 2 sittings because magic is OP.
Oh, you're a big fire fucking circle.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Killed everything. Apart from that, like, that's probably my favorite game I've played this year. Like, I know I've been shitting on Deathloop for the last hour and a half, but I enjoyed Deathloop. Like, I enjoyed my time with it. I enjoyed. Yeah,
like it. The story fact that I got nominated for so much, I'm actually excited to play it just to see what they saw. You know,
like, it's not a bad game. It's a good game. it's a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10 game. If you're into ratings, like I played 23 hours of it, I enjoyed the story.
Yeah.
I just think it's overrated in comparison to other stuff that came out.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I like. I'm trying to look at what else I played this year. Oh, TWAB just dropped. I think the one game I wish I'd played this year that I never got around to was Half-Life Alyx. I've installed it.
Oh yeah.
It's been sitting on my fucking desktop since June. I have this in a drawer beside me to fucking go play it, and
It is VR exclusive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's VR exclusive.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'm not gonna play it in the summer because it was too hot to fucking have a headset on your head
and stuff. Yeah.
And now it's just kind of like, oh shit, I'll have to go play that, and I just haven't got to it. And I want to play it because I've heard amazing things, and I'll eventually play Beat Saber one day, and then go, oh, I'll put on Half-Life Alyx and see what it's all about. And then the most game
What did you hate?
Do you know what I really didn't enjoy when I played it? I started to play it. I played about an hour and a half, 2 hours of it, and didn't like it. It's Ghost of Tsushima.
Really?
I don't know what it is, and I'll go back to it and try again. I just started playing it and just went, ugh.
Because that would have been very high up on my game of the year.
A lot of game of the years for last year. It was.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and it deserved it. I just started to play it, and I was kind of like, I couldn't be less interested in this right now if I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And I still have it there. I haven't uninstalled it from my PlayStation because I've heard amazing things. I've heard it's a great story.
I enjoy one of those when you get into it, you'll actually.
Yeah. I just need to get into it. I just looked at that map and just kind of went, ugh.
There's so much going on.
It's an Assassin's Creed, but by a different developer, and I'll play it eventually, and I'll come back and be like, it's amazing. How did I not like this? But just from the little bit I played, I just kind of went, I don't want to play this right now. I just don't want to play it. I'm gonna go play something else because I don't want to play this. I'm gonna force myself.
And especially being out on PS5 now as well, that obviously carries a lot more.
It'll eventually come to PC.
It'll eventually, I think it was my last game I played on PS4, and it was like, remember when Last of Us was like the last for the PS3, and it was like, I just wish I had waited for the next gen because of what it looks like, you know.
Yeah. Like that's another thing. I played the second half of The Last of Us, the second and thirds acts of Last of Us this year because I fell off it when I played it last year. I didn't enjoy it, but I got through it, and I don't want to have that same thing for Ghost of Tsushima. So I'll eventually get to it. I have one last question for you before we get Stephen in here tomorrow.
Go for it.
Game Awards last week. Did any of the announcements or things shown off stand out to you? Are you looking forward to any of them?
Do you know what? It was very fucking long.
It was
so long. A lot. I was watching it. I watched
a whole lot. It was a late night, man.
Yeah, like I know it was late for you. Like I watched that after
4 a.m.
my flight, and I was in New York, so I was watching it as it happened. It was only like 10 o'clock at night, but I was wrecked, and I was just lying there, not trying to stay awake, but I was like, okay, can we get to the good stuff? Can we get like more trailers and stuff like that?
They could split it next year. Have your 2 hours for game announcements, have your 2 hour award show, and if people don't want to watch one or the other, just let them not watch it.
And if you want to listen to Imagine Dragons, just go on Spotify.
Yeah.
What was announced? Hellblade looked amazing, but that first trailer that we saw during the summer at the Games Fest, was it at Games Fest? We saw.
It might have been Game Awards last year.
That looked amazing.
Hellblade, yeah, it looks insane.
Hellblade.
I couldn't. That's all gameplay they showed. It's insane that's all gameplay.
Because I can't think of anything that was announced right now. Let me bring it up.
Actually, have you played that Matrix Awakens thing yet on PS5?
The Unreal Engine 5? Yeah. No.
I have it there. I need to play that because I've heard that's absolutely ridiculous.
Star Wars Eclipse.
Yeah, there was that.
I didn't
Game
know.
Awards.
That was at Game Awards. Yeah, that was the first thing we saw because there was a rumor recently that the High Republic was going to be one of the next games, and so it is. But when I checked out Quantic Dream and I saw the games they made, they're the games that I don't like playing.
Yeah.
And it's very bittersweet because, like,
I know.
I'm literally reading the High Republic right now.
Me and Chaotix
one of my
were in a
favorite.
chat. Yeah. Me and Chaotix were in a chat together, and we both kind of went, "Ooh, Star Wars, ooh," and then we were kind of like, "Oh my god, this looks insane! Oh, I can't wait!" And then it was kind of like, "Oh, Quantic Dream, they make those sorts," and I'm like, I get people who like Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human. I'm not shitting on your fucking game preference.
Yeah,
I hate
but it's
that
a very
stuff.
specific.
It's a quick time event.
Taste.
It's a game of quick time events, and I was kind of like, oh no, and I'm like, maybe Quantic Dream will make a completely different kind of game. I doubt it,
but
yeah.
If that formula doesn't change, it'll be. I'm playing this because it's Star Wars and I want to play out the story, and I will go into it thinking I'm playing through a fucking story rather than, or playing through a TV show rather than a game. There was one that, what was it called? I
have a couple that kind of stood out.
I was kind of a bit disappointed that Dune's game is an RTS.
Yeah. Hopefully there's more in that.
Suicide Squad, I was already hyped for that.
That looks really, really good, but like Suicide Squad, I was kind of like, I'm excited for it, but I'll hold back judgment. It looks good. Rocksteady do make good games, in fairness, though. Like the Arkham series is very, very good. So I'm excited for Suicide Squad. I hope it comes out and it's really, really fucking good. Obviously Hellblade. Nice, yeah. Hellblade looks just like
there's one that I didn't ever hear about before, and it got shown. Arc Raiders.
I was about to say that.
The co-op shooter.
It looks like the B-sides of Destiny. Like, no way an album comes out and you have the main
just
album.
Didn't make the cut. Yeah. Doesn't fit into the whole...
I have it on my wish list. I have it on my wish list on Steam. It's a free-to-play game.
Is it?
It's free-to-play.
Okay.
I don't know when it's out. It's not out for another while. But I'm interested.
It looked exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it could be big.
Yeah. It's not out till next year.
Okay.
It looks nice. It looks kind of like War of the Worlds ish.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch the trailer, but I watched it as it happened, and I was kind of like, okay, I was excited, and then I saw what it was, and I was like, you could have told me this was a AAA, like, developed game, and I would have thought.
Yeah, I'm interested in it. Like, I don't really know what Embark do. Nothing apparently.
But there you go. We didn't know what Ember Labs done, and
I'm interested.
What they did.
Yeah, I was about to say Arc Raiders. I'm kind of I'll be keeping an eye on that one.
Yeah. Wonder Woman. I didn't see the trailer. I only started it after the Alan Wake 2 announcement.
Fuck that jump scare, man.
No, thank you.
Yeah, again, just not for me. Just not for me.
People enjoy what they enjoy. Sonic.
To
me, that lands like Avatar, where it's like, I might play it, but I'm not excited for it. You know?
The one that I'm really starting to go cold on is Forspoken.
Yeah, like I'm still. It was after the last reveal that we got.
Yeah.
And I think that was where we first saw gameplay.
Like after the last reveal, I saw the in-game cutscenes. I kind of went, but then I saw the gameplay, and I was like, oh, it actually still looks okay. From the gameplay we saw at the Game Awards, I'm kind of like, I'm a sit and wait on this one because I'm not too sure if it looks a bit. I don't know.
It could be a dividing one. Yeah.
Hopefully we're wrong, because I was really excited for that. But I will not be pre-purchasing that anywhere.
There will not be a collector's edition bought.
Oh, unless it's a really cool collector's edition.
Nice statue. Love a good statue. Tiny Tina's. I'm already excited for that video. Yeah. Another one, actually, it's on the list here, that I thought looks really good, but then I'm like, what it is, and I just haven't played it because it feels slow. A Plague's Tale.
Yes.
Like it looks very, very good.
It looks The Last of Us ish, if that makes sense.
Yeah, how it plays out without. Yeah.
That same kind of style of game. It's a narrative driven game.
Very story driven.
Yeah, no, because there's one of them out, Plague's Tale Innocence, Requiem.
Yeah, it was
Whichever
on PS
one's
Plus a couple of months ago, and she got it on that.
Yeah.
Requiem.
I haven't heard. I haven't played it. I haven't heard anything bad about it, so I assume it. I've actually heard someone.
Good stuff. Yeah. I think Stephen liked it as well.
Maybe. Stephen's great though.
I was kind of a bit disappointed we didn't see anything to do with Starfield.
I wasn't expecting to see anything. I was kind of hoping to see something to do with Hogwarts.
Yeah,
or even Redfall, something from Bethesda. I think Starfield is going to be quiet now until I think they're releasing these little kind of 10-minute episodic things on their YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait for Starfield. Like, I'm excited for Elden Ring, obviously, but I think I'm more excited for Starfield, and I just hope it's more Skyrim, Fallout 3 than Fallout 76.
I think it's because of the scale that it is, and it's ambitious. And
I think people need Bethesda to get a win.
Yeah,
because people love Bethesda. People love Bethesda games. They're very popular game studios, so people want good things from Bethesda because they know when Bethesda
left a bit of a bad taste.
People know when Bethesda do something good, they're gonna sink 200,000-300,000 hours into it. And Todd Howard was talking about this, that Bethesda games almost have two lives. So they have the game launches and people play through the story, and they play through all the side missions and they sink in 100 hours, and then they kind of start creating their own shit for the Bethesda games, and they kind of take on this whole new life of their own. And I think that's what people want from I nearly said
Starfield.
Starfield. Different IP, Kev. Yeah, from Starfield. So I'm really excited for that, and I hope it goes in the direction we want it to go in. Yeah, it's absolutely not coming out next year. Starfield is absolutely coming out in like March 23. Not taking bets.
Like, I think we've seen enough of Horizon at this stage.
That game just needs to come out.
Just needs to come out.
No. We'll not
Hogwarts, that's another one that's kind of like
it's an enigma at the moment.
They're in that period where it's like we need to be told something, but we're not being told anything. But then they could just Fantastic Beasts and just drop it out of nowhere.
Yeah, true. Even like yesterday, like with Ubisoft announcing that they're remaking the original Splinter Cell. Like, people have wanted a new Splinter Cell game for a long time, and hopefully for the people who want it, this is the start. It's like, we're going to remake the first one to reintroduce the world to Sam Fisher, and then we're going to make something totally different.
They're Demon Souls and before Elden Ring.
No. Now, I know a lot of people were disappointed that it's a remake rather than something new, but you're getting something Splinter Cell, so...
Yeah, so it's like, it'll be like a new franchise, or a new beginning for the franchise.
A reimagining.
Well, looking at my list, Tunic, I'm glad we saw more about that. I'm really excited for that. Yeah. But it is an Xbox. I don't know if it's Xbox exclusive, but it's out on PC as well. But that was something that I was kind of hoping to play on Switch. Yeah, there wasn't any massive groundbreakers or new that we haven't heard of. There was
a handful. Square Enix dropped fucking Final Fantasy VII for PC right in the middle of it. They were like, Final Fantasy VII PC, and it's out next week.
Now.
And it's full price.
Yeah. But Star Wars, I'm going to keep high hopes for, because... I
saw you were excited. I was like, I know he's going to be so excited. But I really don't want to piss in his fucking cornflakes, but... Yeah. Detroit Become Human and Heavy Rain are not your style of game.
No. But I think if there's anything to make me play that style of play, it's Star Wars. In the fucking High Republic era as well. But
here's hoping.
There's no massive ones that you took away from it apart from...
No, aside from what I... Hellblade absolutely stole the show for me. Like, just... The first,
and that was all gameplay.
I couldn't believe that was the first game they showed. They should have kept that right for the end because people would have lost it.
Yeah.
I think that was my one minor misgrievance with the Game Awards that, like, I know you just gave Joseph Fares his Game of the Year award, and that's lovely for him. But it would have been nice to say, oh, just one more thing.
Yeah.
Watch this. And I think it didn't even have to be something massive. It could have just been a little announcement for anything, or even just an updated trailer for Starfield. Just something that people would have gone away really, really like, oh my god, did you see that last thing? And I think that was the last. And look, they showed off so much, so it is really nitpicking. But it just would have sent me to bed going, oh, that last thing, oh my god, that was
worth it. Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas the last thing I saw was Joseph Fares saying, haha, the else just got fucked.
Whereas the last fucking Games
last
Fest,
year was Elden Ring.
And that's what you take away from it. Whereas that's why I felt like I had to look back through a list to be like, what did we actually see?
Or even if they had just kept something for the end that they already showed, like if they had kept Star Wars even for the end, it still would have gone like, oh, we left
and didn't tell us who it was from.
Yeah, but just anything, and I think that was the one thing it was missing, was just that sizzle at the end.
Close off,
just that little.
Yeah.
And look, maybe they don't do Game Awards that way, and that it's like, look, he got Game of the Year, let's make it about him.
This is his moment.
Yeah. So that's fair enough. I won't hold it against Jeff too much. But just anything.
I think early next year we're gonna see a lot of shit.
Yeah, I think next year is gonna be a big year. Like there's already a hell of a lot launching next year.
Yeah.
Like I think
this time next year is gonna be saturated as fuck.
Yeah. Like I think a lot of stuff has gone back to normal following the pandemic hitting. Like I don't know if a lot of in-office stuff is back, but the stuff that is like they've had to pivot to a remote working environment, and they've all done that at this stage, where it would have taken maybe a few months, 5 or 6 months to get into that. Whereas now, I'm assuming it's full steam ahead in most places. Things might get delayed by a couple of months here and there, and that's to be expected. But I do think next year and 2023 are going to be fucking huge. If it's not all ruined by NFTs. Don't know, don't care.
That's the real game, the one that you own and no one else can play. It's my game of the year because it's only mine.
It's mine. It's my precious.
That was another one, Gollum. I'm kind of cautiously optimistic about that. Like,
I don't know what it is.
It's
hard to know what it is.
Yeah. Apparently, it can change between Gollum and Smeagol. So throughout the game, you're choosing to go through encounters as the good guy, but that's just what I heard. But yeah, it's
a weird
Lord of the Rings. It'll be like a Shadow of Mordor or not.
I didn't enjoy them. No,
that's the thing.
That's the company. They're the ones that are making Wonder Woman.
The Wonder Woman, yeah. Which I think that'll be good, but it's kind of like, how will they deliver it? Same with Wolverine. I'm kind of cautious with like how they're gonna deliver that, because like you look at Batman, that's kind of fleshed out with his sidekicks and the villains, and it's kind of like Wolverine, will they put in the X-Men and stuff like that to kind of give it a little bit more depth, and Wonder Woman, Justice League, kind of way. But be curious.
Wait and see.
I need to work on one of these games.
No, I don't. I like playing games. I don't want to ruin it.
But yeah, I think we should get Stephen in. Then
So that was a good. I actually enjoyed that chat. So obviously hopefully we don't have to do too many of these, but I think we all.
Yeah, and it is really getting to the stage where it's like, I'm free every day bar this day, and I'm like, oh, I'm free that day bar every other day.
Yeah,
and then Stephen's like, what is going on?
Yeah, I think Stephen
haven't had dinner in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Stephen's very, very busy at the moment, so hopefully in the new year we can try and figure it out, how we can get everyone on as much as possible. Even if it becomes once every 3 weeks or once a month, where we're all available at the one time, it'd be better to just do it that way. But yeah, we will get Stephen in. So thanks for the chat, Dill. Dill is gonna disappear, and Stephen is gonna appear. Hey, Stephen, how'd you get here? Dill was just here 2 seconds ago, and I snapped my fingers, and now he's gone. Oh shit! I made Dill disappear, but at least I replaced him with you. Anyway.
I mean, is that a fair trade? Is it really? I love that it's an oven glove where you cannot do the click.
Yeah, not story of this. I'm actually pretty sure that these were recalled. And I got it with Loot Crate, I think, a few years ago, and I got an email saying, yeah, we have to recall that oven mitt because it doesn't function as intended. Now, if an oven mitt doesn't function as intended, like, what else is an oven mitt fucking for? But I was like, I'm not sending that back. I'm just keeping it as a novelty. I've never used it as an oven mitt. And if it doesn't function as intended, I'm not planning on it. So anyway, yes, first half of the show was me and Dillon. Second half of the show is me and Stephen. Their times couldn't line up for the last couple of weeks and for this week, so I'm taking one for the team because I'm a team player, apparently.
So yeah, too.
So me and Dill had a chat for the last hour and a bit on our game of the year. I'll dip back in with mine, but this is the Stephen show. We're rebranding, we're renaming everything. It's now called the Stephen Show. Dr. Stephen.
Yeah, Dr. Stephen's hour of Game of the Year.
Game of the Year.
Yeah, I'd love to see the analytics in this, where basically people stop watching at this hour and go,
Or start. But you're gonna have to watch the first whatever to see what the because I actually, to be quite honest, I think both me and Dill enjoyed our conversation in the first half of the pod. I quite enjoyed it. I did actually quite enjoy the conversation. It was a good conversation, I felt, and we covered a lot of ground. So yeah, we'll kick off into it. We won't kick straight into your Game of the Year stuff because we both know where that's going to end up. For what it's worth, me and Dill, an endless cycle. Can you see the white shadow? For what it's worth, me and Dill kind of picked out 2 or 3 games each that were contenders for Game of the Year, and then said what our actual Game of the Year was. And then we also said our favorite game that we played this year that doesn't actually have to have released this year. I have a couple of curveballs to throw at you that I haven't told you about, that I threw at Dill last night, and he answered his stuff, so we'll get to that. Stephen, what have you been up to? We might as well. What have you been up to? Without going off for next 20 minutes. Just, how are you?
I've had a stomach bug the last 24 hours, so that was fun, especially because I had to do a webinar with a couple of teachers. So I was on the webinar, had a few scary touch and go moments where a burp was not a burp, and a fart was not a fart.
You did your webinar from the toilet.
I should have just did the void background for the podcast. Yeah, I'd just been on the bog the whole time. But no, then other than that, just work, mostly training.
Have you played any games?
I've played queue simulator for Final Fantasy's new expansion, where you just sit in a queue for 4 or 5 hours.
Queue simulator. Sorry.
Yeah, I do not recommend. But no, I played a bit of Endwalker, and I'm really enjoying that. The way the expansions have started working is there'll be a couple of quests to introduce you, and then it splits off into A scenario, B scenario, they group back up, and then you go that way. So I've done A and B scenario, and I'm at the end, then there's the first dungeon, so I've completed the first dungeon. And yeah, that was hectic. Jesus, I completely forgot how mechanics worked and how Final Fantasy 14 works, so yeah, that was intense. But it's good. Loving the story so far. Really interested to see where it goes. Then what else have I been playing? Got my PlayStation controller back.
Sweet. Oh yeah, you did tell us that it broke.
Yeah, I got the.
Isn't it the worst thing ever when a PlayStation controller breaks on you? And it's not like you didn't break it, you didn't throw it at something. You looked after it, you put it carefully, and you treated it like royalty, and then it betrays you and breaks.
That's the thing, because I have the charging pad, so it sits on the charging port, so there's no reason for the stick to be pushed or any damage at all. And then I got the fucking stick drift when I was helping.
Maybe when you're at work. Maybe when you're at work, Deirdre sneaks in a few games of Demon Souls, and she threw it at the floor, and that's how it happened.
That could entirely be possible, but I highly doubt it. She's never touched a controller in her life. So yeah, because I wanted to boot up.
She's like, how do I use this thing?
Surely the buttons go on the ground, right?
That's why she's banging on the ground.
Thinking that you move the character by literally holding it that way and moving the controller around.
Somebody somewhere has tried that.
Yeah,
and then they call the Charmander Franklin.
Then, yeah, because I wanted to boot up Kana again, but
we actually spoke about that, yeah.
The fucking controller drift made it so that Kana just basically looked up all the time. And then I downloaded...
at least she's an optimist.
Yeah, true. She wasn't looking to the ground. Glass half full type of person. Yeah, like there's a few things I kind of have that I wanted to play. I was also annoyed because I had just bought myself near Replicants for Christmas.
Oh, it's on sale. Is it on sale?
Yeah, I got it for like 20 quid or something.
I thought that was on sale.
And yeah, then the controller wasn't working, so I was like, well, that's not being played for Christmas now. But now Christmas has been saved. I can play my PlayStation.
That got back to you real quick. They told you it was going to take like a month, didn't they?
Yeah. Thankfully it didn't. And they didn't even fix it. They basically gave me a new one because I looked at the back and was like, that's a completely different controller.
Yeah,
so
that's it's just easier for them to do that, I imagine. Strip the parts out of your one that still work, and they no one know the difference.
So yeah, other than that, then
you didn't get yourself a nice new like what was it? What's the blue light blue one? What do they call it? Cosmic blue or something? Or the new purple controllers? Did you see all them? They look nice, to be fair.
I did. They do look nice.
I think Dill actually. I didn't bring that up. Like when we were talking that there's the new faceplates are coming out, the different colors for the PlayStation, and Dill actually had a great suggestion, like that they could start doing game specific ones. That'd be awesome. Like that'd be so cool. And if they don't, it's a complete missed opportunity. And
I can see that being I can see that being part of collector's editions.
I don't know if it would be. I think they'll do it separate to collector's editions. Like
you see, that could be a really good.
They've done it in like the past where they'll do like a God of War PlayStation 4, a Destiny PlayStation 4. So I think it's just something that they'll sell separately when God of War Ragnarok comes out. They'll have the God of War Ragnarok collector's edition, but they'll also have the faceplate at the launch at the same time.
I think so, but I could see them also having like a super. I could see them doing a super collector's edition where you get a specific. No, I see them doing a specific faceplate for that game, whereas like you might buy the general.
I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't do that because I like my collector's editions, as you can see. I like my collector's editions, and I hope that isn't the way it goes, because that's. You can do both. You can still do that. You can still do both.
Yeah. Because I'd love to buy a different faceplate on it. Because like the white is nice, but I'd love to have something cool. I'd love if for like Elden Ring, if there was something out on that.
Be cool.
That'd be nice. Yeah. But then other than that, no. Actually, the other thing, I booted up the PlayStation on Wednesday when it arrived. Because I had to update the controller and sync it again, and. Elden Ring came up. I was like, damn.
That was my actual game of the year. Was the Elden Ring network test. I'm not even joking. Actually... When you're watching back, you'll see me say, "Can I say Elden Ring network test is my game of the year?"
I'd be nearly tempted to.
Yeah, it was so good.
It was. Oh, no, we can't get back into this despair.
We can't.
We'll go hollow. So
2 months. If there's no delay.
Hopefully 2 months. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be 2 months. From Software aren't known for delaying their games, to be fair. Generally, when they say it's out here, then it's out then. Obviously, we're in special circumstances at the moment, but From Soft generally deliver what they promise.
Yeah. Is there any point asking you what you've been up to since yesterday?
Since yesterday, no. Played more Destiny. Realized that doing the whole dungeon is completely and utterly fucking pointless because all of the good loot drops from the final boss. So I went and got ourselves a boss checkpoint, and now we're just doing boss checkpoints because all of the armor. So the boss, So we can talk about the dungeon actually if you have any opinions on that, because me and Dill spoke about it a bit at length. But I realized that all of the armor drops from the boss checkpoint. The two guns that I want, being Eyes Luna and 1,000 Yards There, both drop from the final boss. And it's double drops, so you're guaranteed you get 2 drops on every boss checkpoint. So it's like there's only
and it's farmable, isn't it?
And it's farmable. So there's only 2 other checkpoints that give you loot: the ogre and the cannon, the cannon, the shield, the fallen shield. So it's like I can do 45-minute run to get 4 drops, or a 10-minute run to get 2 drops.
4 drops.
And then it's like in a 40-minute run, I'm getting 8 drops instead of 4 drops. It's like, what's the point doing the rest of it? So
yeah.
No, that's good. We spoke about the dungeon. We did do it. We brought you through it. What did you think of it? Because I had opinions on it, and Dill had
brought is a very strong word about what you and Chaotix did to me in that dungeon. Yeah. You misguided me through that dungeon
intentionally.
Yeah. It wasn't even just like, I wandered into things. You were like, go stand there, go do that. And I did. Got opened up. Although in fairness, I did then completely walk into the same thing 4 or 5 times, thinking it would be deactivated.
It was like Dylan that bonfire in Demon Souls. No, what did you think? So me and Dill spoke about it, and not to repeat my opinions from earlier and keep people bored, but I basically said that I hope Witch Queen brings us a lot of new raid mechanics or dungeon mechanics, because we've been doing the same sort of mechanics for the last couple of years now, and it's just getting predictable. How do you feel about the dungeon itself?
Yeah, like I find that the dungeons are stale now. That there isn't anything in it. Okay, so there's the loot, obviously, and now that you found a way that you can just farm the boss checkpoint to get the best loot, I'm like, Grant, next time on I'll do that, because I don't want to do that whole dungeon again, because it's not even a nice dungeon to be in. Like, there's nothing in it where you're like, oh, this is cool. Like, I like the Rainbow Road in Prophecy, because that's different, and the music there is really cool. Like, that's an experience.
You know what? There's no point in this dungeon where I stop and go, oh my god, this song is amazing. I didn't have that moment once.
Even this area or this boss encounter or anything, it was like...
Genuinely, what I get is like, oh, the servitor's all the way over there. It's not just right next door to us. Yeah.
That fallen shield as well, I was like, this is poxy. Like, to have to go across the whole fucking way, and then to introduce gravity as a fucking mechanic where it can just fall off the edge and then you can reset the whole fucking encounter.
Stephen, own your mistake. Just own it.
I am owning that mistake, but it shouldn't be something that can happen. Like, it's annoying. And I did not like it.
For clarity, Stephen pushed one of the servitors off the edge. So and there's a bug, so we had to restart the whole encounter.
Stephen pushed a servitor. It
off
fell.
The edge.
Off an edge. But not because I pushed it off the edge, because gravity's a bitch.
No.
And there was no the ledge should have been there.
You pushed it at a bad angle. Anyway. Yeah,
that shouldn't be a mechanic.
Like what I was like, I love that part where you launch the servitors through the cannons and they kind of float in, and it's kind of cool watching it the first time, but afterwards kind of like, I've done this, and I like, but it's just in general, I just find that, again, not to repeat myself because I've already spoken about this, in that dungeon mechanics and raid mechanics are very not predictable, but we kind of go into them now expecting what we're gonna get, and that does two things. It makes it feel like we've been there before, we've done it before with a different coat of paint on it, and it brings down the difficulty of it and makes it easier. And that's like, oh, we've seen this. We just have, and I know it's difficult. Like Destiny is a first-person version of a World of Warcraft or a Final Fantasy. A light version, a light first-person version. So there is only so many ways they can do mechanics There is this. No, this was an interview done.
No,
They've spoken. Like they can't put 20 buffs on our screen, or they're not going to fill the whole bottom of our screen with different abilities and stuff like that. So they are actually limited in what they can do. But however, I am quite bored playing Gambit several different ways.
Yeah, no, but I'm gonna call bullshit on that because I think that's actually a very lazy way. Okay, I get in development of stuff. I get the screen. I remember reading that interview with the buff screen and how that caused issues and so on. But like in Final Fantasy, in the dungeons, the mechanics are literally blowy thing on the ground, avoid it. It's like here's the new like your enemy has a magic spell that shoots out tonal things at a pattern that you need to avoid in a certain time, and they're telegraphed. And I think that type of stuff is where dungeons and strikes and all that need to go. And same with the raids then, because rather than a stomp mechanic, why not where they stomp? Then you basically get like cones on the ground that something's gonna fall from the cave that they're in, so you can't stand in the DPS area.
We do get stuff like that. We had that in the Tanax fight at the end of Deepstone Crypt. In the insanity phase, when the big purple beams are coming down, you had to move out of the way of it. So we do. But
that was one and only time that we've had something.
I'm sure I can think of other ones off the top. Just not off the top of my head. But I mean the basic mechanics of fights. It's pick this up, bring it to here, or pick these up, bring them to here, or pick this up, throw it at the boss. It's all become it's predictable.
It's looking for that one mechanic. Yeah. It's how do I activate that one thing that I know is basically Gambit.
Yeah. And if that was the case for maybe one encounter or two encounters in a raid, I'd be okay with it. But I feel like they've also really gone hard in the direction of, here's mechanic 1, you do this on encounter 1. Here's mechanic 2, you do this on encounter 2. In encounter 3, you combine those two together to do something. And then encounter 4, it's those two combined, plus a little something extra, plus do boss DPS. And then there's a white mechanic. And then so it's become it's like building blocks, as opposed to, here's your puzzle, figure it the fuck out. We're going to give you a bit of the puzzle now, and then you're going to get another bit of the puzzle, and then you're going to get... And it's a building block puzzle, as opposed to each encounter is a fresh puzzle that you have to solve. And you were about to say it. King's Fall. Yeah. And King's Fall is probably my least favorite Destiny 1 dungeon, but not in a I hate King's Fall, just in a it was my least favorite of them. However, each encounter was its own puzzle that you had to figure out. The only one that had some similarities was maybe the last two, the sisters, and then or there was a slight bit of crossover there, but the overall encounters were different, and I really hope that we can go back to that, or even the way Last Wish was, in that there was there was a theme throughout the raid of Last Wish, where it was the puzzles, it was the pictures, you had the snake, the birds, the dragons, and they were consistent throughout, but each encounter used them in completely different ways, and then you just cheese riven. But each encounter was its own puzzle with a theme that tied them all together, but they were their own puzzle. Whereas if you look at Deepstone Crypt, it's the 3 augments. If you look at Prophecy, it's Dark and Light. If you look at this one, it's engrams and scorch cannons. And nothing changes throughout the whole thing. It's the same thing in every encounter, just in a slight different way. And I just feel like it's the difficulty or the challenge and the freshness of it is diminished because of that. And I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I still love Destiny. I absolutely do. I love endgame content. I want to walk into the Witch Queen's raid and go, holy shit, I was not expecting that.
Yeah. Or even for the world first race to just basically be people struggling for hours and hours and hours on end because the mechanics are just they're nonsensical. Like, why would we go counterclockwise on this thing? Like, that's why we love about the King's Fall raid with the sisters and that piling down into Oryx's one, is that like there were platforms, like, oh, we know how to get the platform, someone has to jump on it. It's like, but which way do we make them work? It's like, oh, we start from back right and go counterclockwise. for no fucking reason at all. It's like, great. Let people struggle with that and go, that is the puzzle. It's like you just literally trial and error till you go, oh, this is how we started.
Whereas now I don't think there's a trial and an error. There's really just here's our new version of Gambit.
Yeah, because to give an example, like I've never. Okay, I did the day one raid, but it was VOG, so we know how VOG works, and there was a few different mechanics. I'll throw out there again. I was right; they changed a lot of stuff, just because you were wrong on that one. And it's not very rare.
They didn't change that much.
Holy stop! They changed enough.
It was fresh. It felt fresh.
But you and Chaotix gave me a chance for look, figure out the mechanic, and I figured out with a minute or less. That's you shouldn't be figuring out a mechanic solo in that time. Like I literally went, oh, this is it. Gore cannon goes into this thing, opens it up, and then you go into the area where you have to get all the doors, and there's literally one door that closed and has a red sign on it to be open. It's like, I'll open this one. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
So yeah, but overall, the dungeon, it's fine. It's new content. I'm not really in the Destiny mood at the moment.
No, me neither, and maybe that has swayed my opinion a bit, but
yeah, it's not bringing me back in.
No, when I was playing Prophecy, it was, oh my god, I'm loving this. I want to play this over and over again and learn it and get lots of stuff and bring people through it. With this one, it's like I can't wait to get everything I want from it, so I don't have to go back into it again. Yeah. And once I get 1,000 yards there with quick draw snapshot, bye Felicia.
No more carries. Yeah.
Well, I'm not helping anyway. I'm not helping people. I'm just not. I don't enjoy it enough to help people.
Yeah, and I think.
Sorry.
I think that's the way it's been going for a while, though, isn't it? That Bungie's content has basically been copy paste with a different coat of paint.
Yeah. Now I know this is an extra thing that tied us over to Witch Queen because of the delay. I get that, and I don't want to be too harsh. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining because I'm not. I just hope when Witch Queen comes out that there is enough newness to it, enough new things that the Lucian Hive might be fantastic, or they might be like the Devil Splicers, or they might be like what you call the ones we got when the Fallen got stasis, and it's like they didn't really change a whole actual lot about them. It was Aramis in Beyond Light.
I was like,
where they got
the Fallen got stasis, and that's how little it fucking changes.
And I just hope that now that we have the Hive with light abilities, that they become something that really stands out. Yeah. And they're used in really creative and innovative ways, as opposed to a new enemy race. Not really.
Because that will be the fact that they have the light and that they can be revived. So
they should be our equals.
So our thing is we have to take out the ghost. But the one thing that I worry about is and it's always been this thing I've had is my ghost is just sitting there. Why has no one gone up to kill my ghost? And now we have in the trailer literally go grab the fucking thing and break it. It's is that going to break the spell of how powerful we are or how stupid the enemy is if they haven't done that? But I also think it could be a really interesting mechanic then with raids where the objective isn't actually nuke the boss, but it's nuke the boss to expose the ghost to then try to find how do we actually break his life, how do we kill the ghost. And I think that could be a really interesting way that would switch away from, we just need to kill the boss, to killing the boss is the easy part. How do we unlock the puzzle to get the ghost? And maybe the ghost has a different mechanic in it. And if they don't do something around that, I really think they've run out of ideas. And I don't want Witch Queen to basically be another season drop. I want it to feel like a new game. I
wanted to feel like King's Fall felt.
Yeah.
Or Forsaken felt, because they're the two that it has to line up with. I think Beyond Light was more a Shadowkeep or a Rise of
Beyond Light and Shadowkeep. Yeah, they felt very much like seasonal content. Here it is.
They felt like I disagree with seasonal content, but I get where you're going with that.
It felt like they were planned for the 12 weeks, and that was it.
They felt like an expansion, whereas Witch Queen, you wanted to feel like Destiny 3. just to throw it. We wanted to be like, this is the next era of Destiny.
Yeah.
And I agree. I hope it's that, because it's been a long time. It's 1.5 years between big drops. So I know it's been a pandemic, but it's 18 months is a long time. In the live service, like it's longer than Anthem was alive. So yeah, but anyway,
is this season of Destiny longer than Anthem has been alive?
I'm gonna look that up. I'm pretty sure it was. Ironically, Destiny 1 has more viewers on Twitch than Anthem does.
Jesus!
Just saying, Anthem has like 1-2 viewers max on. Like 1 or 2 people stream it, and that they have no viewers.
Does it count the people who were streaming it as the viewer?
Probably. It's their phone on their desk beside them.
Oh, God. Here, you were saying to me...
I'm not getting into it. Yeah.
Right.
I'm not getting in. No, I'm not getting into Anthem. But go on.
No.
I was saying.
You had a rant that you had got cut out by.
Oh, no, it was just that. It was the whole...
Oh, okay.
I basically just expanded the point of the different raids and how they feel, and it was talking about how the D1 raids were the King's Fall, the pulses were different, or Vogue, that we had the relic the whole way through, but each encounter was its own thing. Whereas if you look at Destiny 2 raids, they've apart from Last Wish, they've really gone in, and Leviathan, in fairness to it, they were all very different. But Garden of Salvation, the Dungeons Prophecy, Deepstone Crypt is a raid, obviously, but it was, here's your mechanic, and we're gonna build on that each encounter. Whereas I think that's just become very, I don't want to say samey or predictable or repetitive, because that's not the right way. It's just, it's become, we expect it, and when we know what to expect, it makes it easier, less challenging, and it would be nice to get our asses handed to us by a raid for a couple of weeks until we're over leveled, and then it's like we just brute force it anyway. That's all it was. And then anyway, enough Destiny. That's too much Destiny talk.
Unless it's my game of the year.
Unless it's in your game of the year.
It's not.
Right. So I'm not going to tell you what my choices were just yet, because I want to see what yours is, and if they line up, then I'll come in with my ones. I'll tell you what Dillon's were. So Dill's game of the year was Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. In his own words, he's a Marvel shill, so there's no surprises there. He said this earlier on. His runner-up for game of the year was, I forget what his other one was. I was listening, Dill, I promise. His runner-up for game of the year was, what else was it? That's something else that came out this year. See, he didn't say Kana, he didn't say Bridge of Spirits, he didn't say anything like that. He said, I actually can't remember what his honorable mention was. I genuinely can't remember. But his favorite game, while you're looking up stuff that came out this year, his favorite.
Like what else did I have?
Oh, it was Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh yeah.
And he kind of said it was like he'd finished his list and then he went, "Shit, remember I played that? I forgot that came out this year." But his favorite game he played this year that didn't release this year was Spider-Man Miles Morales. Again, in his own words, he's a Marvel shield, so it's okay. He said he didn't want to include Cyberpunk because he hasn't finished it yet. So he felt that he'd be doing a disservice to talk about it in depth without completely finishing it, which I can respect. And he said, aside from that, he said his favorite game he's actually played all year, but he didn't want to fucking put it in there, it was Apex, because it's all that he plays. Which is also fair, because he plays a lot of Apex. Right, kick it off. Stephen, go in whatever order you want. You can start at the bottom, work your way up, or you can tell you what your game of the year was and work your way down. It's the Stephen show, and I'll ask questions.
So how many so it's 3, is it?
However many you want to do. I kind of listed out other ones as well, but didn't go in depth on them. But I kind of went in depth a little bit on 3 of them.
Yeah, I'm just looking very quickly there to be like, from what I have played, what was actually this year and last year, because there was a bit of overlap there.
Yeah, there is. And do you know what the crazy thing is? There's, like, I've been reading through other people's, and I kind of like, shit, that came out this year. What?
Yeah.
And I also think with the PlayStation and Xbox launching at the end of 2020,
Yeah.
like you get a bit confused because it's next gen. You're kind of like shit. No, that was last year. For what it's worth, I did calendar year, by the way. I didn't include like the December launches last year in this year. It was January 1st to December 16th.
Yeah, like I'm just looking here and I'm remembering like this year's been a pretty bad year for releases.
Has it
Like
though?
there's been a few good, like, okay, look, don't get me wrong. We know where this is going for me, okay? We know we have one in the bag. But otherwise, like, it's been a pretty disappointing enough year for me. Like, there wasn't much that jumped out to me. That I was like, oh yeah, this
Do you know
is
what it was? It was the
pandemic.
first. No, it was the first year of a console launch.
Yeah,
It's
true.
always the same. If you look at the first year of PS3, was like incredibly poor. Like
Mhm.
Oblivion carried the first year of PS3. Like the first
True.
year of PS4 was okay because towards the end of the first year, quite a lot of stuff came out that really propped it up. Destiny.
Yeah.
But it's the second year of a console launch is generally where I find the good stuff starts flowing.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm still looking and I'm like, yeah, all the stuff that I was gonna say was last year, I think. But what I will I'll jump in with this. So this is probably I'll put it at third. Um, but I'm actually really enjoying Brilliant Diamond. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
That's interesting
that's
because you've
what.
been fucking going hard at that. You played that more than
Yeah,
I have.
I finally beat the Elite Four. That Garchomp is a fucking cunt. Seriously, I over leveled.
Demonetized.
I over leveled everything. I was like, right, I'll get my Garchomp up to 70 something so that he's not going to get one shot. Literally, I had to get him
Stevie.
to 70. I had to get him to 72
You
before
went Dragon v Dragon, of course it's gonna one shot you.
he one shot everything else up until that. So I was like, last ditch attempt was everything else. Most of them had more speed, so they'll get an attack in. Like they were doing fuck all to him. And I was like, even that super effective, they just weren't killing him. And then he was one shotting everything. And the only
I
thing
would have
that fucking saved me,
paralyzed them. Oh, you can't because
man,
it's a Dragon
it's his
Ground
ground.
type. I would have put it asleep
Yeah, you see, I
or
don't use status
froze it.
effects. Yeah,
That's what
I
you
couldn't
do.
freeze
Yeah.
him. He wouldn't fucking freeze. So yeah, the only thing that saved me was that I literally got like an extra level in just before that fight, and he the opposing Garchomp used Dragon Claw, brought me down to 16 HP. Mine went out, one shot at that Garchomp, and that was it. That was the Elite Four dub. So
So
yeah,
would you agree that it is the Dark Souls of Pokemon games?
it fucking is. Like I think I struggled more in the Elite Four than I have on most Soulsborne bosses. Um, but yeah, like I'm really enjoying it because it's more of the retro Pokemon feel, and I'm enjoying the graphics and even like I actually shiny hunted a Ditto as well because I got my
Did you
chain and I
get
was like,
it?
grand, I got it on the
I really like the
22nd.
Oh, that's below odds then.
Yeah, that was really good
Yeah.
because I had to reset it 2 or 3 times because wherever the Ditto is, like finding the furthest part can be difficult because you've got trees in the way. So what looks like the furthest one is actually a zone closer than the other furthest one. So I've had to reset it 2 or 3 times at like chain 7 or 8. But yeah, no, got my shiny Ditto and a second one for good luck. So
Oh, did you now?
I did.
Oh, did
Got
you
you a
now?
second one. I got you a second one.
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome.
I already have them
So
on in home, but obviously we can't use home yet, so
yeah, so I now have Ditto getting funky with
getting funky.
Lapras. I think someone traded me a Lapras with Japanese names, and I was like, oh, I
Oh,
can use
there
it.
you go. Yeah, Masuda made it the shit out of that.
Yeah, so I was like, I'll just keep breeding the two of these fuckers until something happens. Because it's a shiny Ditto and using the Masuda meta, I was like, surely that's got to do something. So no, I know it doesn't. But in my head, I'm like, maybe it does. But no, I've been really enjoying it. It really kind of captures the old school Pokemon vibes with a modern day take on it, and um, yeah, even like because I never played Diamond or Pearl, and I'm liking the freshness of the dual types as well. Like having my Infernate be
Yeah.
fighting and fire is nice because it
It's
basically
where they
got me through
really started
everything.
to go hard with the dual types.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
really good because it just means you can actually open up your team a bit more and get you're not going with the usual what the fucking beefiest. And then I like that things in the underground open up then, so we got the region or the national decks, and then more Pokemon started showing up in the underground, and now I have the Ramenza Park, so I can catch all the legendary. I tried the shiny hunt on Regirock at the start, and I was like, I actually just can't be arsed. It'd be great if you could just do the chain and hopefully get it on your 50th one. I was like, I am not resetting that because it's full. It's a full reset. Like in Sword and Shield, at least it was like run away and then do your little puzzle thing again. But it's the full reset is fucking hard, man. What are you shiny hunt?
I think that was for Regirock as well.
Oh, did
I
you get
haven't.
one in the end?
No, I haven't done that in a while. It's been
Oh,
sitting
okay.
like that for quite a while now.
Yeah, nah, it's not worth it. Are they not in the Dynamax Adventures? No. Fuck. Okay. Oh, I just need to catch one in Pokemon Go and
Yeah, send it in.
transfer. Yeah.
Pokemon Go's ruined shiny hunting, but whatever.
I have zero luck with shinies in Pokemon
Well,
Go.
I'm okay. Get the occasional. I had no luck with the legendaries last week, but we won't talk about that.
Did you get a?
I got a Zekrom. I
Kyurem?
didn't get a Reshiram.
Yeah, you didn't get a Kyurem yet, no.
Not yet. No, I've done a few. I've got a few Curums, but no. I've done 4, so I haven't done loads. So,
And is he the only legendary this week? Is he?
yeah, at the moment, yeah.
Okay.
I'm interested to know you included that though. I did think about including that myself, but then I was kind of like, no, I've played some really good games this year. That
Yeah, none of the games are jumping out to me. That's my problem. Bar the one that will be my game of the year.
no, I'm interested. And I'm like, I know you've always been into Pokemon, but you've never really played any of the mainline games. So it's cool to hear that you're really enjoying it because they can be like, I don't want to say they're all out of date or the mechanics are outdated at this stage. They kind of are stuck in the past a bit.
Oh, they really are, yeah.
But as long as the new Pokemon titles are selling 5 or 6 million copies in a week, Game Freak and Nintendo ain't changing shit, man.
No, but
And why
we are
would they?
getting
It fucking prints money.
yeah, but we are then getting
Arceus Legends.
Arceus, and all this has done is actually get me really hyped for Arceus because
I don't know what to expect from Arceus.
neither, but that's a nice feeling to have as a Pokemon fan.
Exactly. It is nice going in and going, I don't actually know what to expect from this. So, for better or worse, it's nice that it's going to be different and fresh.
Yeah,
I will not complain about a company trying to innovate.
No.
If it turns out like shit, I'll say it's shit, but I will not complain about them trying to innovate. I will give them kudos where it's due.
I think all indicators are it will at least be an enjoyable game. Whether it'll be a good Pokemon game, I don't know. But I hope they just fix that janky fucking catch mechanic from the video. Remember the fucking ball going right past the Growlithe and it still caught him? Yeah. Or maybe not. Maybe that's what you want.
Maybe it's Oregon.
Okay, so that's number 3. I think number 2. See, the problem is I haven't completed a lot of games as well. So
I'm the opposite. This is like since the pandemic started. I've completed more games than any other years previous. It's fucking great. You.
Were you gonna say something there? Or you kind of cut out.
You just start talking. The dog's having a fit out here, and give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, I think my second one is probably gonna be Kana. I think even though I haven't completed it yet, it has been a blast so far to play. And what's actually annoying me is I think it just some of the boss fights were really annoying, and are kind of slowing the progress down a bit. And I just want to get through the story. It's what I'm really interested in is what happens. Like the fucking what was it? There was one boss in particular. It was one before the Taro fight. You come down the slope and go into the boss fight.
Oh,
That was really
yes.
annoying. 'Cause you had to like come down the slope every single time,
Yeah.
and you had to fight the enemies first, which were like the 6 monkeys, and then after that you get the boss fight. So if you got pinged by the monkeys, you got fucking you had to go into that boss fight with fuck all health. And yeah, the health mechanic in Kane is a bit annoying. That it is the flowers and they only come up once every fight. So that was yeah, that was a bit of a pain. But no, I'm really enjoying it. I really wanted. That's why I turned on the PlayStation again and wanted to get the get back into it. And then the controller said no. So it's something I'm keen to get back into and actually finish.
Could say you're
Because
keen to get back into
I'm keen to get back into it. Yeah,
it.
it's just one of those games that like for me it kind of really captured me, but just with time and everything, I just couldn't get around to finishing it. But I really, really want to. And yeah,
So
like
yeah,
Ember Labs did a great job.
Yeah, Kana was also my second in game of the runner-up in game of the year. As for all that you said, like it was a stunning looking game. Like it was literally, it was like playing a Disney Pixar movie. Like it was Ember Labs. It was the most polished game I played this year in so many ways. The combat was challenging, but not Dark Souls level challenging ish. The dog is having a fucking moment because there's no one here to can calm him down. Loki, come here, bud. It's just a motorbike. I'll have to go in a second. But yeah, like it looked amazing. It played amazing. The soundtrack was nice. Like it had very clear and distinct architecture. Like you knew what it was inspired by, and it had a nice story. Now the story is quite morbid, and I spoke about it. It's like it's all to do with death and loss, and
Like
missing. Like,
everything.
It's not
every fucking character you meet is pretty much
dead.
a dead
They're
person.
dead. Yeah, everyone's
It's
dead
like,
apart from
cool.
Kana, and yeah, everyone's dead apart from Kana. So like. And even then, I'm actually not even sure if that's the case. I could be completely wrong and have misjudged that completely. But like, it was a good story. It was a good main story with 2 or 3 side stories that all linked into the bigger picture, and it was just a really well delivered game. And it was 40 quid. It was half price. And Ember Labs and Kana have earned and deserved all of the recognition and praise and awards that they've won. And I cannot. It's the same with Housemarque. I keep saying I can't wait to see what they do next. I cannot wait to see what Ember Labs do next. Give them the keys to Jak and Daxter. Give them the keys to something. Just say, here you go, Ember Labs. You guys are fucking incredible. You do whatever you want. Or you can have any of our franchises. You can have Sly, or you can have Jak and Daxter, or you can fucking have Crash Bandicoot if you want to have it. Just do whatever you do, because like that's the first game. That's the first game they've ever made. Like, if that's how good the first game you ever make is, like,
it should only get better.
It should only get better. And I think what we're going to talk about for our game of the year, like that's the result of 20 years of experience in that genre. Like if you look at the previous games by that developer, by that studio, there's a clear stamp there of they made this, and they learned from it, and then they learned from it, and then they made it in a AAA, in the AAA space, and all the lessons they learned carried into that. But if this is what Ember Labs do on their first attempt, like I can't wait to see what they do. And only for the other game left such a mark on me. Kana would have been my game of the year. When I was playing it, I was kind of like, is it my game of the year? It's like I want it to be, but that other game just got its claws in so deep that it ran away in so many categories. It just ran away all the way to Atropos and back. Astapor and back, whatever it fucking was. Atropos. Astapor is Game of Thrones, isn't it? But like Kena Bridge of Spirits was a special game by a special studio, and they're only gonna improve. They can only improve. Just give them a bag of money. Yeah.
They already got a bag of money.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they haven't been acquired yet, but give them a bigger.
No, not acquired. But yeah. I didn't realize. Well, no, I did, but I kind of dismissed that as being Game of the Year contender because it's an expansion. But yeah, I kind of forgot about the remake Intergrade as something. So I assume that was your third one, was it?
No, my third one. Yeah. I didn't include Intergrade as that because it was an expansion. It wasn't a. And it was a reason. Like Intergrade, it was excellent. The Yuffie mission was excellent. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to diss it. My third one was Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Oh,
it was again. It was a well-made, well-polished game. It was the first kind of next gen game that really like wow. That was and it was a great job, but kind of won out over that.
Yeah, and then we have
our game of the
year.
We
spoke easiest game of the year ever.
It's I can't think of a game.
Go watch their Lord of the Rings extended version of a review on Returnal. Believe it or not, game of the year. Yeah, who could have seen that coming?
And it's only been when I've been thinking about it again. I was kind of like, and I actually watched Skill Up's review of it today again after watching his Deathloop review, and it was like. His review was a damn good review of Returnal, but I was kind of like watching on. I'd love that game. Like I don't want to play it again. I've played enough of it, unless it comes to PC, of course. But like I've played enough of it, but just the way it played, the way it looked, the way it sounded, the way it played, the story. I spoke about all this, so I'll let you get into why you loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the easiest game of the year for me ever. It was game of the year from the moment I played it, and it was never losing that spot unless Elden Ring came out this side of Christmas. Yeah. So Stephen, tell me why is Returnal your game of the year?
For me, I just keep going back, and I said it to yesterday, or was it yesterday? I was like, today is one of those days where I just listen to Hyperion's theme over and over again. And like the music is such a small part of the game, but it's the sound design is one of the best features of
the
that
sound
game.
Design should have won all the awards for audio design everywhere. I'm sorry, but you can hear every single individual sound from exactly where it comes from. And this is a game, it's a bullet hail. There's a lot of audio going on, but you can still hear every single sound from exactly where it's from. The audio design is exemplary.
But even like the care, it's very clear the care and the effort and the purpose that everything Housemarque did in each biome and in each boss encounter, because Biome 4 is literally designed to direct you towards the Hyperion fight. Like with the music playing in the background, if you play with headsets on, you can actually hear where the music is coming from, which is the key to this is where you need to go, the direction to which you should travel. And then when you actually get to the spire and you're ascending it, and you have the music getting louder and louder, and it's kind of sending chills up your spine. Like, what's this? Like, you kind of notice at the start, like, I think it's getting louder, and then you notice it's getting louder, and then you're like, it's mad how loud this is getting. Like, what's going on? And then you do that final kind of Icarus grip over to the front, and I love that it doesn't throw you straight into a cutscene. You can actually just stop on that platform and look at what's in front of you, which is this giant face playing a piano. a piano made of vines and tree trunks. And you're like, that's playing this. Like, what the fuck is going on? And then you jump in, and then it kicks into the da, 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 da. And it's just you
Nvidia
even know.
broadcast butchered that, by the way.
Oh, did it?
Nvidia
Sorry.
broadcast butchered that. So
Probably just
we will
well.
not be getting copyright struck for that because it did not
Probably
sound
good.
anything like it.
Maybe that was me, man. That might not.
No,
have been
it was a
broadcast.
video. It was a video broadcast. The video broadcast cut loads of that out.
But and then even like it cuts into the cutscene, and then you realize your initial impression of that boss isn't that it's a giant face, but it's like the
Yes.
scare tactic of the face is on the back, but it's something at the front, and then you get into it. And I love even that in the boss fights, or just in fights in general, Lean has dialogue that's very clear and audible.
He
And then
didn't
she
get a
goes in.
nomination for best performance. That is bullshit.
It really is.
It was a one woman show. Like she was the only voice actor in that fucking game that had actual dialogue, and she carried it and she didn't get nominated. What is that nonsense? I'm sorry, it is nonsense.
Really is, because like you can tell the emotions that she goes through. Like it isn't just that she's reading a script, and you can tell she put in a lot of effort into trying to understand the lean and the position that she's in. And
Like, I know I'm very biased. I know I'm very, very biased, but I feel like Returnal is probably one of the most underrated games of the year. By other people, not by us, not
Yeah.
by us.
No,
But
no.
like, I just feel like it's so because of it's a difficult game, because of the whole drama with save features.
That save thing is
I
the one
just
thing that
feel-
killed it. Like,
Yeah, I just feel
I
like
think all the journalists, including SkillUp, need a kick in the dick for what they said about that, because they were wrong. They were
they were
flat
wrong.
out wrong. Like, I think basically what happened was they had that knee jerk reaction after Cyberpunk, where some of them, SkillUp included, really gave it a glowing review because they had the hardware that could play that game that it was designed for. And that's not the wrong thing, but everyone else didn't have that, so there was a massive
They
backlash.
they didn't want the backlash for the reviews, which is probably
So
fair.
yeah, so they basically went, well, I'm going to tell them that this is a problem and hype it up to be something bigger than it is.
It wasn't
because,
a problem.
But it really wasn't. Like,
It wasn't.
And that's the reason, like, okay, we were hyped when we saw it first, and then we were like, maybe not. It's not really our thing. And then I took the plunge after the reviews, and they were saying...
I didn't buy it because of the reviews.
Yeah,
The reviews are
I
what
didn't-
put me off it. Yeah.
I didn't buy it because of the reviews, and then it was on sale on the American PS Store. I used my American account, got it for €40. And it was, other than Kana, like, it's been the best €40 I've ever spent. Like,
Yeah. Like,
and
Kana was the only other game this year. Like, when I was playing through the opening tutorial for Kana, I texted you and like, I love this game. And
Yeah.
Returnal was the only other game, apart from Cyberpunk last year, where I kind of went, I absolutely loved it. I've literally played 20 minutes, and I'm engrossed by this game.
Yeah. And like the other thing was, you were captivated by it by watching me play, which like it's not an easy thing to do for someone else to watch and go, oh yeah, I think I'm going to get this. And you know, it wasn't even the case of I think I might enjoy it. You were basically like, I know I'm going to fucking love this. I'm buying it at full price. You bought it at full
just
price,
straight
and
up
20
didn't
minutes
care.
later, you were like, that's it, I'm done. I love it. I'm in. I'm hooked. And like the gameplay, it's so tight.
The lean handles like a dream.
Yeah. She really, like, probably shouldn't be saying she handles like that, but anyway. It's
But no, she
like,
does. Like, Celine handles like
There's
so
no-
well.
there's no input delay. I've never once went, that's bullshit because Celine
No.
didn't move the way I wanted to. Like, I went, that's bullshit because I fucking backstepped off a cliff or backstepped into something I shouldn't have. But that's me.
Nah,
Like,
never me.
Celine did
Never.
what I told her
Never.
to do. You jump off the cliff. You don't backstep. You
I
fucking
think
jump head
the
first.
only like slight disappointment is that you can't play it in first person, just because. And don't get me wrong. Look, the game is.
I think that'd be
amazing.
terrifying.
Yeah, it would be, and that's what I'm getting at. It would be just that experience would be incredible, terrifying,
wonder-
but incredible.
Yeah. I wonder, would it be a would it be possible though? 'Cause there's a lot of stuff.
I wouldn't think so. I think
in the Hyperion fight, it comes down, and you're trying to look up what things are.
Yeah, I think it'd be incredibly difficult.
Imagine that in VR.
I would buy a PlayStation VR just to experience that.
Yeah,
I genuinely would, or find a way to hotwire my Oculus. Are we allowed to call them Oculus anymore? My Meta Quest up to my PS. I find a way to hotwire it so that I can play it, or just wait till it comes out. They're saying that Hellblade has a VR. If you buy Hellblade on Steam, you get a VR version. Now it's weird. You're kind of still playing over the shoulder, so it's a bit weird. But yeah, I don't know how that'd be. I don't think I could manage. I think I'd lose my mind if
I think that would.
But
really
anyway, we're not talking about Hellblade. We're talking about fucking Returnal. I think one thing that we never actually really spoke about in Returnal was the enemy design. And it was only after watching Skillup's Deathloop review today that I really appreciated the enemy design in Returnal, because there is actual enemy design, and part of the progression through Returnal is I fought that enemy. Oh, it was a bit hard this time, but I know how to. I know what its weakness is now. And even the harder enemies, the big ones that are ultra aggressive and have mega health bars, when you fight them a few times, you kind of realize, okay, I'll fight these at range, and I'll open up a lane between us, whatever. Or the ones that use the melee attack, you realize after fighting them, you develop that knowledge of what they're strong at and what they're weak at, and you almost cheese them is the wrong way to put it, but you take advantage.
But you know
of
how
those
to
weaknesses.
attack them, because I'm thinking of. Do you remember the special room in Biome 6? You go in and it's a lockdown room, and there's a level below and then the level you're on.
Yes.
And it would always spawn in the dog type enemies first, but then you'd get in the fucking what's it called, the Xeno.
I don't know what they're called. I can't remember.
Yeah, but you get in like somewhere between 1 to 4 of those in a room. Yeah. And I just remember, I remember one time I got stuck with 4 of them at the same time. But they all have different abilities. So some of them will shoot things, some of them will because they'd all teleport at you.
I do know the room. I do know the room, yeah.
Because it's basically the Frike boss again, but 4 times.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the mini Frike.
Yeah, and you're just it's that hecticness, but also the predictability of going, I know he's disappeared. He's going to fucking come up and slap me, but I'm in the middle of trying to melee this dog, so I'm going to have to melee him and instantly fucking dodge out of there.
Dodge, get my eye frames.
Yeah, but the game handles so well that you can do multiple inputs and think about that type of stuff. You're like, I literally just saw him disappear. He's coming at me, but I'm in the middle of doing this, so I'm going to melee.
If you didn't see him disappear, you heard him disappear.
Yeah,
I think. I don't know if it's because it came out earlier in the year, or it was the little bit of drama with the saves, which ended up being absolutely ridiculous. But there's so many things that another developer could look at what Housemarque did with Returnal and just take it. Just go, that's genius. Yeah. We're using that. Because there's so much in that game is just pure brilliance that other games could learn from it. And even I've said, From Software could look at some of the stuff that they did and take from it and go, that's actually a really good way of doing that sort of stuff. And there's so much in it. Fucking Destiny could take some of that stuff in a raid. And
I'd
just
imagine
take
bullet hell in the raid. Jesus.
Just stuff like that. And it could, there's a lot there that could really be used. And it's Returnal it's the definition of the different parts are all absolutely excellent, and the sum of them is somehow greater.
Yeah.
And I actually saw that comment on Deathloop is the opposite. I might have said Deathloop for that. I meant Returnal. Deathloop is the opposite. That the individual parts of Deathloop, there's a lot good there. The characters are great. The story's good. The gameplay is fun. The art is cool. The audio design is cool. The music, the soundtrack is great. But when they're all grouped up together, they somehow become less than the individual parts. And Returnal is the opposite. Everything complements everything in Returnal, and it just makes a really, really special game. And I just think that whether you are turned off by difficult games or you kind of shy away from difficult games, if you can embrace the challenge that Returnal is, and it has the save feature now, a one-time save feature that you can scum, but I didn't tell you that. But you can, if you can get through that thing of this is difficult, but I'm gonna master it. Like, it's a special game, and it absolutely deserved more Game of the Year nominations than it got. In the mass media, like a lot of YouTubers will include it in their Game of the Year because of how great it was. A lot of people will include it, but I personally feel like Deathloop stole its nomination, because Deathloop wasn't the best loop game of the year. Returnal was, because it did everything Deathloop did, but better, way better.
I'm looking at the review, the IGN review, because I keep going back to Deathloop getting a fucking 10 out of 10 from IGN. Like,
It did. I'm sorry, no. We can have that conversation if you want. Like,
well, I'm just looking here, like, so Returnal got an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Great. It's roguelite runs.
It's a bad roguelite. Like, as a roguelite, it's not a good roguelite. I will straight up say that. It is not a good roguelite. As an action-adventure game with roguelike mechanics, it is brilliant. As a narrative-driven action-adventure game with roguelike mechanics, it's absolutely fantastic. Like, it really is. I'm so glad you played it, because it meant I fucking played it.
Yeah. No, I don't think I've ever played a game that's had such an impact on me. At least not since 1997.
I can't remember the last time I became so hooked in something, because I know both of us start looking into the lore of it, because that's another thing that I spoke about with Dale earlier, is that the lore of this is as deep and as developed as Destiny's lore would be. The lore of this game runs so deep that if you actually start looking into it, you begin to go, how the fuck did Housemarque come up with all this? It's insane! Now it's all linked in with Greek mythology.
But still, like, it's not told through the game as well. And I think that's the other part that they took from Software, which is tell the story through the items or through, like, different means. And for Housemarque in this one,
you know what I really enjoyed?
What?
Was that a lot of the story that was told through items was told through voice logs that played when you picked them up. It wasn't from reading a computer screen within my computer screen.
No, and it all comes from Celine as well. That it's not, like, I really like that element as well. That as you go through
it's just so good.
That as you go through it, like, in parts you can see her descent into where she is. Like, at the start, she's very much like, "Oh, I'm listening to these audio logs, and that's not me. That's crazy." And then you see where she goes to, and you're like, "It's just crazy." And I really like. I want to have that first experience of it again.
But you know what? Like, part of
the
that.
The problem with Returnal is you can't recapture that first experience. No. Like, the first time you go,
it's like watching Fringe for the first time.
Well, no.
But
that is the problem with Returnal, is it's fun to play, like, it's a fun game to replay again, but it's that first experience, that virgin experience of the game, from biome 1 to biome 6, and then doing your second run through to get the true ending. That,
you know what,
is where it really shines.
And that's where the progression comes in, that when you start playing through it again, because you know how everything works, you've become so powerful without actually getting power-ups. You've just become more powerful yourself because you're armed with the knowledge of how the game works. And that's the kind of meta progression in the game that you're not getting, like, Celine's not getting more powerful.
Oh, and actually, that's a really good point as well, is that I think Housemarque designed a game where basically what levels up. Okay, so the things that level up are permanent level up are weapons. Okay, you unlock a weapon and then you'll unlock traits, and that's it. But, like, then the power of the weapon can change depending on the look at the RNG. But the thing that actually levels up, and I'm only thinking about it now, it's really clever, is us. we level up. Like, we don't get any extra health, we don't get any faster, we don't get any stronger. We get a few new abilities, but they don't really change the
But so do the
momentum of
enemies.
gameplay.
The enemies are getting more powerful.
But the thing that gets more powerful is us, our awareness of the enemies, our awareness of the surroundings,
of how the game works.
And yeah, that's actually a really clever design.
And then they put you in water, and it all goes out the fucking window.
Yeah, that took a while.
It's all in slow-mo.
Yeah. Oh, I can jump 40 feet now. Shit.
Yeah. And yeah, it is.
It's
just but like another part of it, like when you think about the opening cutscene that we see is Celine crashing on the planet, but that's not the first time she's crashed there, and it's only when you actually start playing through it and picking up, it's like, how long has she been here? It's like, because when we played through it, I died 20 something times through the game. You died whatever 40 something times. Someone else might die 100 or 200 times. And that's your experience. That's how many loops you've done. But Celine, as a character in the game, she's done hundreds and thousands of loops before this. She's been here for a long time, and it's through those audio logs that you learn more. It's just brilliant. It really is a brilliant game. And I just don't feel like it got the recognition it deserved.
No,
in enough places. It really, really didn't. And I'm quite surprised it didn't, because it was a PlayStation exclusives, and exclusive titles generally get an easier run in the in the review process than non-exclusive titles do. I don't know.
Like
it's not intentional. I think it's an unconscious thing.
Well, like the way fucking Deathloop got an easy run with the critics.
I don't understand that. Like, and I'm not someone who thinks it's a terrible game. I'm really not. Like, I watched Ralph's review earlier, SkillUp's review for Deathloop, and I agreed with everything he said. But as I said to you, that the characters kind of brought me back to neutral on that. I'd still recommend playing it. I wouldn't recommend going out and spending full price on it, because there's better games there that you could play. But it's still an enjoyable time. Is it a great game? No. Is it a good game? Yeah, it is. It's fun. But I think it's probably the year's most overrated game. I still think it's a 7.5 game. Absolutely, out of 10. It's a very good game. But Returnal and Deathloop are similar in their setup, and Returnal Housemarque just did it so much better than Bethesda did. They really did.
Yeah, no, definitely. And even that the narrative ties into, like, okay, I know Deathloop ties the loop narrative into.
See, I don't want to say too much on that, because it doesn't, like, the ending isn't amazing. Whereas Returnal's ending, you kind of feel like, it's all tied up. I get it. Do I get it?
Yeah, do you really? But I'm just looking now, even the Metascore of 85 for Returnal, 88 for Deathloop. User score of 6.3 for Deathloop, 7.2 for Returnal.
I think they're both probably a bit low. I think Returnal's is probably Deathloop's, and Returnal is probably should be an 85.
Yeah, but it's
like Deathloop. I actually saw someone mention on Deathloop that it's kind of, and it's how I felt about it, that you can split it into 3 parts. In that the first part is you kind of struggle to get into it. You're kind of like, I'm not really enjoying this, and then you kind of get into the groove, and it's like, I get it. I'm enjoying this now. I see where it's going, and then it really outstays its welcome. I was kind of like, by the end of it, I was kind of like, I just want to be finished with this. And it was something Ralph said in his review as well today, and it's something that I said to you, and I said to the guys when I played it. It is a very linear game. Like, there is one solution, and I feel like there should be more than one solution to this puzzle. And I don't know if you've watched Ralph's review yet.
I haven't actually. No, sorry.
Not Returnal, Deathloop. Yeah, and like, he's kind of like, the puzzles and how it all fits together. Like, if they didn't tell you where to go specifically, you wouldn't figure it out because it makes no fucking sense. Aside from the game says, go here, pick up this item, bring it back. And then it was only when I watched it, I realized how much of the game you actually spend in your menu. In that pre-post mission menu, you spend most of the game there. All the events happen when the player is doing nothing. And it's only when he actually said it, I went, shit, yeah, like, I know I set that up, but I set it up because the game told me to. I didn't set it up because, I figured out how to get these 3 together and these 2 together at the same time. I didn't figure that out. The game told me how to do it. And that's fine. The game told me a story. The game was giving me a story, and it was guiding me through that story. But I don't think the game was advertised as that. It was advertised as, figure out how to kill all the visionaries. I have to kill them all in the same loop at the same time. But how do I do it? And then you get the puzzles and you get the pieces, but you don't piece them together. Because it would take someone on a hell of a lot of fucking acid to be able to like Claire or Carrie Matheson from fucking Homeland with her fucking pictogram on the board couldn't figure this shit out. Like, it makes no sense apart from Bethesda told me to do this, so I know how to do it. And then it all ties up into one final loop where you have to go to a specific place, and you don't figure that out. And I think that's what maybe disappoints me the most, is that I didn't figure this out. It was just given to me, and I just experienced it.
Fair. Yeah.
Go watch Ralph's review. It is spoiler free for what it's worth.
Oh yeah, most of his are, to be fair.
Yeah. It was a very, very good review, whether you agree with it. And that's what, even if you look at the replies to his tweet about it, a lot of people says, I disagree with this review. I love this game. But the way you've structured your points and the way you've developed your points, I get it. And I appreciate the way you've constructed your argument. I don't agree with you, but I find it very hard to argue with you because you clearly have done your homework on this. And he has. And it's a very good review. That's Ralph.
Reviews are subjective. That's the point. And he says that. Go watch other people's reviews if you want.
He
one
does
of them.
And actually, he kind of said, I'm not going to sit here and give you a pros and cons list, because that's not what a review is for. I'm telling you about the different parts of the game and why I feel the way I feel about it. And it's very good.
And we resonate with his opinions. Yeah. We don't always agree with what he says on certain things.
However,
but
I do agree that the AI is fucking crap.
It is shocking.
It's terrible. Yeah. But anyway, it's like playing FIFA on amateur. It's terrible. I would have liked to be able to change that. Yeah,
even Julianne has a bit of a dope. I stood there once. I couldn't find her for ages, and she was just standing still, invisible. I was like, "Is that her out?" I was like, "Oh, it is." Okay,
it's terrible.
And I just popped a shot, and I was like, "Grand."
Yeah,
that was a free Havoc slap.
Yeah, and I think that's what, like, one of the big separations, apart from everything else, between Returnal and Deathloop is the AI in Returnal. It will find you and it will fucking kill you if you don't kill it first.
They're all Liam Neesons. Yeah,
they're all Liam Neesons. But anyway, like, I think both me and you were always going to have Returnal as our game of the year. We weren't going to let the other have that, and Dill chose Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's fair, because like he spoke about it, that it was a great story and it was told very well, and that's fine. And
I'd be interested in playing it.
I am. I will play it. I'm waiting till it's about €25, and then I'll buy it and I'll play through it. And I'm looking for, like I said, I'm looking forward to playing through that game. I don't know what the gameplay is like. I genuinely don't, because no review has told me what that gameplay is like. They've all focused on the strong points of the game, and that's fine. But that's not a review. That's a marketing. That's an advertisement. Tell me what the gameplay is like, because I genuinely don't know, because I've only seen videos of it. No one has said to me, Kev, this is what the gameplay is. This is what I like about it. This is what I didn't like about it. No one has said that. They've all just said, the story's amazing. And I get that. I can go watch Guardians of the Galaxy on fucking Disney Plus right now. How is the gameplay? Sorry.
Where else have we heard that,
You know what? I've heard the opposite argument.
Story shit. But
I've heard the opposite argument where the gameplay is amazing, but the story's not great. And
where was that recently?
But then they all harp on about how great the gameplay is, and they ignore the poor side of it. And anyway, I'm not getting into a rant. Let's move on to happy stuff. Stephen, what's your favorite game you've played all year that may not necessarily have come out this year, or it may have if you don't have one that came out previously? I will tell you mine if you want.
Tell me yours. Go
Demon
on.
Souls.
See, I was afraid you were going to say that because I think that might have been mine as well.
That's
if
fine.
it wasn't, you see, I actually think it's Returnal is my favorite.
Yes,
but I'll pick something else that's not.
That's exactly what I said. If you rewind back about an hour and 40 minutes, you'll hear me say the same.
But I really, actually, I think the games that I enjoyed this year, definitely, apart from Returnal and Cana, didn't come from this year. I really enjoyed playing Demon Souls. I actually really, really enjoyed playing it again with you and Dill.
Yeah.
I think
I'm looking forward to playing through some more with Dill.
Yeah.
We both have a scum save from before. The False King.
Yeah, exactly. And I really the one from this year was the network test. I
didn't include that because test. it wasn't a full game, but that is my favorite thing.
It was better than most full games.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. There was as much content there as a lot of full games.
There was more story in that network test than there was in Halo Infinite.
I wouldn't know. I haven't played through it yet. I have it installed, and I will play through it, but I haven't played through it.
So Demon Souls. Well, I think Demon Souls might be my favorite. No, actually, I didn't realize. I wasn't sure if this was this year or not.
Doesn't have to be.
But no, I know. But actually, I probably should have included this in my top 3. I didn't realize that this was this year. But the post-story content for Shadowbringers was this year. It was like January, February, March. And that was really fucking good. Like, it's more Final Fantasy 14, but the story was fucking fantastic because it closed up the ending of Shadowbringers and is bringing you towards Endwalker. And some of the stuff in it was some of the best storytelling ever. Really good. I'm never going to spoil Final Fantasy 14. I know you will eventually get around to it. And I know people are watching it.
I actually spoke about this earlier in the pod as well with Dylan, that I just don't have the time. I want to have the time, I just don't.
Well, you're not allowed anymore anyway. You've been told by Yoshi P. No, pre-trial players aren't allowed. So.
Oh, are we not?
No, you're not allowed in anymore.
Oh, fair enough.
Too many people.
That's
so
fair.
You can't play it even if you wanted to.
That's fair.
You can't even buy it anymore. So.
It'll come back around.
It'll come back around. But
I just don't have the time. Like I started to play with you. I even played it without you, and I was really enjoying my time. But I kind of just went, I just don't have the time for this, and I've got I don't really bring up IRL stuff on the internet. It's just not my style. I've just got too much going on that eats up that free time, that I just need to make the decision that I'm not deep diving on that. I might at some point, or I might not, and I'll just forever regret that I didn't.
If you don't, I highly recommend you find videos going through the story, because the story is fantastic. I know you would actually really, really enjoy it. So that might be your experience with it. Because like the gameplay, some people will take it or leave it. I really enjoy it, but
it's an MMO. Like the gameplay is what it is.
But for an MMO, it is pretty good. So I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed Demon Souls. And the other one I played and still need to complete was Immortals Phoenix Rise.
Oh, I bounced off that so quick.
Oh really?
I bounced off that in the opening cutscene.
Oh really? You couldn't get in because of the humor, wasn't it?
I rolled my eyes and all F forward. I will try go back to it at some point because I know it's a fantastic
scenes.
Maybe it was just that night. I was just not in the right frame of mind to start up a new game that night. But yeah, I played the opening cutscene and it just kind of went, bomb. Right. So if you've nothing else to touch on that, I have a couple of curveballs to throw at you.
Okay, go for it.
What is the one game you regret not playing this year? That you wish you'd got to it this year and you just never found the time to do it? Dills was everything, by the way. He said everything. Because
everything.
of World of Warcraft and Apex Legends and Destiny, everything.
Yeah, I know I really wanted to play near Replicant, and I don't know why I just never got around to buying it, and I think I just knew I hadn't got the time. So that's one thing that I regret not playing. But that will be rectified at Christmas.
How long have you got off?
Like whatever the week is from the 20. Well, actually, I'm off a little later, so I'm off the morning. Next Tuesday morning is when I finish.
It's not bad. We finish up on Christmas Eve, so we finish the 23rd, really. I'm off until the 10th of January.
Oh, that's nice. I'm back in like the 4th or whatever.
Looking forward to it.
Nice, yeah.
The game that I regret not getting to, and
yeah,
I think it's because we got Loki. I didn't want to play it during the summer because VR during the summer is just it's not nice. Half-Life Alyx. I have the Oculus there.
Yeah.
I've got Half-Life Alyx installed on my PC for the last 6 months. I just haven't got to it, and I'm gonna rectify that over Christmas. I'm gonna wake up one morning. I'm gonna bring the dog for a walk, and then I'm just gonna put on Half-Life Alyx on VR and play it because I've heard incredible things about it.
Yeah, same.
Aside from that, there's a couple of other things that I wanted to get to, and I just haven't got around to it. But I'll get to it when I get to it.
Is one of your curveballs what game have I regretted playing this year? Is that one of them coming up?
Regretted isn't the right way, but what game did you play this year that you fucking hated? And why? I can tell you mine real quickly if you want, because it's going to be a different game. And I find it quite ironic because I was harping on about how it was Game of the Year everywhere last year without playing it. Ghost of Tsushima. I hated it. I hated it. Yeah. And it's for no reason. I don't know what it is. It's the Sony it's the PlayStation stamp in an open world, and I think it's the open world that I just kind of went, oh, I don't want to play an open world game right now, and I actually regret how quick I bounced off it, and it was from like the game's gorgeous. It's setting up a great story. It's in feudal Japan, which I fucking love.
Yeah.
It's same as Sekiro. It's in that feudal Japan. I love that shit. I love the architecture of traditional Japan. And so it has everything that I want. It has like the combat was good. It was fine. I just bounced off it quicker than a fucking hiccup. I just didn't like it, and I sat there and I was trying. I was like, "Come on, Kev, you want to play this game?" It didn't help, by the way, that the dog is fascinated by fucking horses. So whenever there's a horse on the telly, it's at the telly, and a video broadcast probably cut all that out. But but I just bounced off it so quick, and I didn't enjoy it, so I just stopped playing it.
I don't know if I played a game that I hated. Like I tend not to play games that I don't
like. There was times in Deathloop that I hated it. I'll be honest. There was times I was playing Deathloop that I just kind of went, I hate this. This is not good. And then it kind of came back around, and I was kind of like, you know what? It has its redeem. Like the characters are fantastic. I'll give them. The characters are fucking brilliantly.
Yeah, they are
brilliant. And the loop mechanic is interesting, and the abilities are interesting. But there was times where I kind of went, do I want to finish this? And then towards the end, I was like, right, I'm just finishing this. I'm just taking the linear route to the end to get this done. But no. Apart from that, do you know what? I was disappointed. I played that Warhammer game.
Necromunda.
Necromunda, yeah. It was 25 quid or something.
I thought it was full price. Okay.
No, it was like 25, 30 quid. It was half price game. I'm trying to just look it up here quickly. What was it called? Necromunda Hired Gun. Yeah. And I was excited for it because I played Warhammer. I love that futuristic shit. And I just started playing that game, and after less than an hour I just kind of went, nah, this is shit. Uninstall. Not for me. Didn't enjoy it. Jeff.
I don't know if I actually have a game where I enjoyed or didn't enjoy something so much that I was like, no, fuck that.
Look at you.
I know that I kind of bounced off Hades. I tried Hades and just
Uh,
went, it's not really what I want. Like I'm intrigued, but I was like, I'm not really enjoying the combat, so I didn't bother.
Fair enough.
The medium as well. I want to get into it, and I keep trying to, but I keep bouncing off it again. I don't know why. It's not that
When
I'm
you
not
play it,
enjoying.
stream it, will you? Because I like watching you play horror games because I don't play them myself.
Yeah, actually, I don't think I'm ever going back to Resident Evil. I just don't think that's happening.
Fair enough.
But the one thing, like, I'll throw this curveball out there. The one game I regret putting as much time into as I have is Destiny 2.
Do you know what? This is the first year since Destiny launched in 2014 that I've kind of gone, you know what? I've found a healthy balance. When something new comes out, I go hard at it for a few weeks and get everything done. And then I go play other shit. And like I've played a lot of other games this year. Like I've completed more games this year than for a few years. I platinumed 3 or 4 games this year on PlayStation. I platinumed Ratchet and Clank. I platinumed Returnal. I platinumed Demon Souls. I'm a god me. I've played a lot of games this year. Like I played all of Cyberpunk when it came out. I played all of Deathloop. I've played lots this year that I've gone, this is a good year of gaming for me.
Yeah. Any other curveballs?
I think I only had one more, and it was to do with the Game Awards.
Sorry, I know. I just see it there. Another game that I've regretted not being able to play, and I really wanted out of the OLED. Fucking Miles Morales.
Yes, dude, go play it.
I fucking need to play that because I really did enjoy Spider-Man.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. I didn't enjoy the final boss fight. But
yeah, I heard.
The last one was to do with the Game Awards, and it was from the Game Awards. Any of them games catch your eye? Any of those games you look at and go, I need to play that. I can't wait for that to come out.
Elden Ring, obviously. I'm intrigued by Slitherhead. I saw today that
I knew you would be.
They came out and said that it's more action orientated. So okay, maybe it won't be as bad. Maybe
you just hate having a sleeping pattern. You just hate having a sleeping pattern.
I do. I hate a normal night. To be honest, I actually don't think I've ever had a normal night's sleep in my life, so it's not going to change much.
No.
I think what else is that?
Like, my sleeping pattern is if I want to sleep, I sleep. I don't need a lot of sleep. I can get by on, 3 or 4 hours of sleep, easy. I can get by on less. Like, I could go to bed at 3 o'clock, wake up at 6, and function completely perfectly. Or I could go to bed at 9 o'clock and wake up at 7 in the next morning and get 10 hours sleep, and again function. I can have a coffee and go to bed.
Yeah.
No, it's a gift. It's a gift that I have. I sleep like that. I'm fine. It's great. I didn't always have it. There was like when I was a teenager, I couldn't sleep for love nor money, but now it's like I want to sleep. I sleep. Now I spend half my time sleeping on the sofa, but we don't talk. We don't need to talk about that.
I'm interested in Alan Wake 2. Like, I'm interested to see where it goes. I never played the first one, and I know it's on Game Pass, so I might get around to it at some stage. But the other one then that kind of caught my eye, only for the fact that I loved it growing up as a kid, with Sonic Frontiers, because it's like open.
You know what? I'm curious. I'm curious.
Yeah, I would love to. I really would love to see Sonic come back and do well, because
I'm curious.
He's been hard done by, and
I think there was a very clear show stealer, I thought, and I was surprised that it was first up, and Hellblade.
Oh, geez.
Hellblade 2 just.
Do you know what I'm looking at?
I'm looking show for me.
Yeah, Hellblade 2. It's funny. I'm looking at a list of here are the new games announced, and Hellblade 2 isn't there.
Yeah, because it was previously announced. Yeah, I just felt like Hellblade just ran away with it. Like,
this is the funny thing, right? So I obviously didn't sit to watch the Game Awards, and then you said watch Hellblade 2. I was like, oh yeah, I will. And I watched it, and on it said Hellblade 2 gameplay, and I was like, holy fuck, this is insane. And I messaged that to you, and you're like, how is this gameplay? And then it took me back. I was like, have I been duped? Have I
Yeah.
watched the fucking
It's
like
insane.
video trailer? And
It's
then I was
insane.
like, oh, but it says it's gameplay. Look at the guy showing the
But like
spear. And then you're like,
Jeff Keighley specifies like that's gameplay. Just to say it again, gameplay. It's absolutely insane. I've installed the first one. I need to play through it.
Yeah,
because I've heard good things.
I've always wanted to get through it, and I just keep.
I just don't know what kind of game it is. Is it a horror game? I don't know what kind of game it is.
Hellblade.
Yeah.
No, it's what would you call it? It's like Demon Souls, but with less intricate combat. And 100% play with headphones on.
Oh yeah, I know, because the conversations.
Not even conversations.
With herself.
Not even.
The voices in her head.
Have you played it at all? Like, have you?
No, I've heard about it. I've heard about it.
Play it and start it up and just play the first 5 minutes, even just to get a sense of what it is. But no, it wouldn't be a horror game at all.
I think that's why I avoided it originally, because it looked like it was a horror. But I don't think it is.
It's not a horror. Do you know what it is actually? It's God of War, but
Xbox.
As a female protagonist. Xbox is God of War, basically.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah, Dale actually also said in his one that Plague Tale, the sequel, caught his eye.
Yeah, we have the first one as well from PlayStation. I think
I own it somewhere. I think I own it on Epic as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I own it on Epic. Make sure you get your free game of the day.
What is it today?
I don't know. Did you get yesterday's one, Shenmue?
I haven't gone into Epic in ages. Unless I see someone shout at me being like, "This is a great free game." Like,
no, it's their 12 Days of Christmas mystery game a day. So,
okay.
People actually thought the Final Fantasy VII remake was gonna be yesterday's game. I genuinely Google it on YouTube, fucking thing, and look on YouTube. People actually made videos saying this was gonna be the first free game. You idiots. Instead they charge you 80 quid.
Price went up because you're fucking idiots.
No, so you know when if rules went up on the store front, it had the price.
Yeah.
And then there was a little bit of backlash. So they took the price down. So people were like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be free!"
Idiots.
Fucking Muppets, man. Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, I think that was the last of my curveballs for the two of you. Yeah. Do you know what? Actually, they announced, I didn't say it, I forgot to say it with Dill, is that the Space Marine 2 got announced. So a sequel to the PS3 game.
Space Marine was PS3.
3?
Was it 3?
Pretty sure.
Trying to remember the box art. I think it was 2.
No, it definitely wasn't 2. PS3, have it there. Yeah, it's just hiding. And I actually reinstalled. I actually bought that on PC and reinstalled it because it was like €6 or something. It aged pretty well. Like, it actually has aged quite well. Like, it's very clunky, but it has aged okay. And I played through the first mission of that and then went to bed. But I'm gonna play. It's not a long game. But that caught my eye because that looked really good, and I have a feeling we're on the cusp of a bit of a Warhammer media revolution with games, and hopefully something else. Basically, because Henry Cavill is a Warhammer fan, and whatever Henry Cavill touches right now turns to gold.
Season 2 of today.
Today, yeah.
May go watch some of that now when we get off this.
Yeah, but no, I think we kind of covered everything. I have the fun job of clipping that together now, and we'll see how long it runs. It might actually be put into part 1 and part 2. We'll see. Because I think.
How long has this been? This has been.
I don't know because I stopped recording and started recording. But you know what? I realized straight away I stopped recording tonight. I pressed enter, and when you press enter in Streamlabs, it stops recording. And I realized as I did it that I did it, so I didn't miss anything.
Stupid fucking keybind to have.
It's a bit silly, but anyway, yeah, that was episode 40, I think. Unless you've anything
to add. You know what? I'm gonna just add.
I have one thing to add, actually.
I'm gonna add this because you and I have spoken about this. But my Couchmaster, I cannot wait for Christmas for that to arrive because
my thing's arrived.
I know, but we can't use it till Christmas. That's the problem. And I was playing it on the couch the other day. I was playing Endwalker, and I was like, man, my wrist's killing me. I really want that fucking Couchmaster.
Do you know what? Actually, I was watching Adam Cole. He's a wrestler in AEW. He's fantastic, by the way. Sorry, I forgot something. I was watching Adam Cole, baby, on Twitch. And do you know what? When he was playing Halo, I think, and on stream, he's playing it like this. So he's clearly playing it on his telly and has his PC beside him. So watch it. If you ever go into it, it's the Chugs on Twitch. He plays sideways. And it's because he's obviously playing on a TV.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I only copped it. Anyway, he's excellent. Just to throw it in, actually, I was saying to Dale that I went to see Chris Jericho's band Fuzzy play.
Oh, yeah.
If you've got the whole way through this podcast, look up a band called Stitched Up Heart. They are absolutely fucking fantastic. Yeah. It's it's probably a generic way to put it, and they probably get this all the time, and it probably drives them fucking crazy. They are a heavier version of Evanescence. That's the best way to put it up, but they've 2 albums out, and they're absolutely fantastic. I'm so glad I went to see the concert just to discover this band. They are fucking brilliant. Yeah, Stitched Up Heart.
There's nothing better than going to a concert and finally the support act being fucking brilliant.
But you know, I was speaking to people at the bar. I went up to get a drink or whatever, and I was speaking to someone that I know that used to work in GameStop, of course. He was kind of like, oh, you still buy Pokemon cards? I was like, no. But we both kind of went, that support act, what the hell was that support act? They were incredible. I was like, it's the rare occasion when you go to a gig and the support act was better than the main act. Absolutely sure. I can't believe they're not bigger than they are, because they're absolutely brilliant.
And they're an American band, are they?
Yeah, they're from LA. They've been going a while. They have everything. They have great music, great singer. They've got the look. They've got that the look that you can sell. And it's like, how are you guys not big in the metal scene? How have I not heard about you before now? But no, I'm glad I heard about them because I've been enjoying them. I've literally just been listening to them on loop since the gig. They're absolutely fantastic. I reckon they're top of my Spotify Wrapped
already.
Even though I've only listened to them for a week and a half.
Oh, I did a Spotify Wrapped for us actually as podcasters.
Did you?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you got a podcaster Spotify Wrapped one. Oh. You don't want to know how bad those stats were.
Look. I think we kind of said it when we started this that we're not really doing it for anybody else.
No, I know. Yeah.
I for me, and it's probably going to be the last one of the year anyway because it's Christmas next week, and so we probably won't be doing one until the new year. But it's something that we just did to do something different during the week, and it's been something that I look forward to every week or every couple of weeks. That it's just something different. It's like we watch sport or we watch whatever or we watch a movie or we play our games, but just taking an hour or 4 out on one day a week just to have a conversation about something is nice because social interactions happen at a premium over the last 2 years. It's been 2 years nearly, believe it or not, and it's nice just sitting down and not playing a game and being semi-distracted. Just having the conversation or the arguments or whatever. And I've really enjoyed it, so thank you. To Stephen and to Dill for doing this all year. Dill's not here. He won't see this because he won't watch it. If he has, I'm sorry, Dill. Called out. But, yeah.
Well, he'll scroll literally to this point now just to be like, oh, see, I watched it. And he's getting called out.
We wouldn't call Dill out. Dill's just such a nice guy. We really like having him on the podcast.
Yeah. We will call out Viper because I'm pretty sure he doesn't watch this anymore, and he came up with some fucking stupid statistical stuff, Viper.
We're not getting into it. Do you know what? I commented on something else. He was talking about I found this quite funny, by the way, Viper, before you go stabbing me or something. But he commented on Epic, like, because Epic was having issues yesterday, and he's like, Final Fantasy shut it down. And I was kind of like, it's probably also to do with, like, Shenmue just went free, it's a mystery game, people are coming in to get it. And he's kind of like, you're just pissing on my cornflakes all week. I'm like, I'm not, I'm just trying to make conversation, man. I just want to be friends. But anyway, yes, thank you, if you've listened to any of these this year. And thank you to Stephen.
Yeah, and also congrats to Viper too, because I think I've noticed he's put in a lot of growth over on YouTube. So while I'm gonna piss in your cornflakes a hell of a lot more,
I'll put some sugar in there too.
Yeah, but congrats.
And because it's Christmas, adopt, don't shop.
Yes, definitely.
Just there's plenty of don't go buying puppies from puppies farms for Christmas, because they all end up in rescues. This is a personal thing for me. I feel kind of strongly about it. Plenty of dogs in rescues, especially from the last 2 years in pandemic puppies. And there's a lot of young dogs. If you I know people want to get young dogs, you can go to a shelter. They have young fucking dogs. We rescued a dog in July of this year, and it's the best fucking thing I did all year, because I no longer have a double chin. It's fucking great. So yeah.
Yeah, you know
all the generic stuff. Adopt, don't shop. A dog's for life, not for Christmas. Be as fucking blunt about it. If you are not fully committed to getting a dog and to fucking having that dog throughout its life, just don't fucking bother. It'll go to a better home.
Yeah, and I've seen you being committed. You've walked out in fucking stormy weather and the pissy rain, and
he's happy. I'm happy. It's great.
He's a happy old fucking dog.
He's a fucking pain in the ass, but we love him. Anyway, yeah. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you, Stephen, and thank you, Dill.
Thank you.
And that was episode 4. We got through 40 in a year. That's not bad going. Like 52 weeks. We didn't miss many.
No, jeez.
Only one of them were my fault. Only one of them were my fault.
Really? I didn't think any were your fault.
Nah, one of them was. One of them I just kind of went, guys, I'm playing Destiny, fuck off. Anyway, yes, we will see you next year, most likely. Have a good Christmas.